I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. Just, I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it no more.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
You just killed a fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
You're happy because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. You're happy because you got nothing.
Lobito!
Got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA Boxing.
All right, this is King Bucho. Welcome to BDA Boxing, the boxing debate arena. Guys, welcome. And I would just want to say thank you to the donor of the month, Father Ted Creeley, Father Jack Hackett, Father Dougal McGuire, and Father Finton Stack. Thank you to all the fathers who donated. And also, honorable mention, Mike P. and Sporting Advantage. But we want to thank everybody who donated and everybody who's been watching this channel. Also, good news, people. We are now on Spotify. You can check the BDA Boxing Show on Spotify. Just type in BDA Boxing and you're going to find the shows there. So check out BDA Boxing on Spotify. All right, let's get controversial today. We're going to get controversial, and that's why I have this new sound that I'm going to be using. Fuck, where is it? I lost it. Well, that sucks. Anyways, we have Revolucion in the house, and we have Gonzalo as well. Guys, what's up?
Yo.
Hey, how's it going?
He did it again.
Guys, welcome.
Going,
Listen,
everybody.
Triple G talk. A lot of hate for Triple G. We know Triple G is ready to retire. I mean, we know. It's pretty obvious just based on his age. And in my opinion,
A lot of hate.
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
the KKK, like the Triple K, the Kazakeo King.
Yeah. So yeah, I want to talk about we're gonna look back at his career. I mean, I know I'm talking as if he's retired. He's not retired yet, people, obviously, but I think soon he will be, and I think he should be retiring soon. So that's why I'm gonna talk as if he's already retired. All right, we're gonna look back his career. I know there's a lot of hate. So is that hate justified? We will find out, guys. Our phone lines are open, and I will be posting some StreamYard links so you can tell us what you think about this. This topic. What should be the question? What should be the question, guys?
Well, the first question should be Bucho. How could you make such an egregious typo on the community board of BDA Boxing here for the poll here? We're looking Canelo's jacked up what? Jacked up what? Tacos. We're making tacos. That's option A. But it's a little homoerotic here. Canelo's jacked up. What is this? A jacked up. What's that? A whipped dessert of some kind? I don't know.
Can I edit it? Oh, shit, I can't.
Well, one way or another, you're gonna have to.
Wait. Let me. Tacos.
All right, cool. So that's that. Secondly, Triple G. It came out of your mouth subliminally there, BDA. I mean Bucho. Sorry, I fucked that up. Came out of your mouth subliminally. We all know he's ready to retire. You know, nobody said anything about retirement, but look, come on, that's what it is. He's got a couple fights. How many fights left do we think he has in him? You know, like I think 2.
I think so, man.
You're gonna get one more little one, and then after that, one more big one, and that big one probably won't go his way. That might be the end. Maybe one more little one on the way down. So 2, maybe 3.
I think so. I think that's the max. What do you think, Gonzalo? 2 more fights?
38. He could fight up till he's like 40. He's a middleweight. He doesn't throw a lot of punches, and the power's the last to go. I mean, he's not necessarily fast. I don't think he'll get like really, really slower. The only thing that worries me is the reaction time, his ability to pull the trigger. He hesitates a little longer now. But will that get significantly more worse than what it is now? He is a good boxer. He has the skills. I don't think that'll deteriorate too much more. So he's still got the power and has the chin. Will that chin
Yeah,
get
but
broken?
okay, you're saying that
Possibly.
you can see him box until the age of 40. Now, do you think he can still be competitive at that age? 30, 30, 38, 39, and then 40? Like, can
Of
he
course,
fight?
he still can be
Yeah.
competitive, but the thing, he might not have the hunger because he's already a millionaire. One thing that he didn't have when he was coming up, that fire, that hunger. He can still be competitive, but will his wife and his family, his new lifestyle, um, motivate him enough to be in there in these wars? Maybe he will retire. Look, interestingly enough, I've been watching some Triple G fights this last week. And I mean, he is competitive now. I thought that the Deveryachenko fight was close, a draw. You could have given it to Deveryachenko, but I certainly can't complain Triple G getting that. And to be honest, I watched the second Canelo fight. I thought Triple G won. After rewatching it again and again, time and time again, I thought Triple G edged it out.
The
He was
second
certainly
one?
stronger down the line. Yes.
Wow. All right. Yeah, the second fight was close. Definitely, in my opinion, the first one, it was a huge robbery. So Triple G should have won that fight. Um, guys, the phones are open, so call in. Chris K, thank you for your contribution. He says Triple G hurt by weight cut. 168 would suit him. Yeah, I've heard that before also. What do you guys think that he should have moved up maybe a while ago? Just
Until
because of
just
his age.
recently, he looks like maybe he's kind of outgrew the division just a little bit because he's a mature boxer. But until like a couple of years from today, he wasn't that bad. As far as size wise, I thought always he was like a little bit on the smaller side of a middleweight. He got that swimmer build. He wasn't really like a huge guy, so I mean, I don't think that the weight cut is necessarily a problem. It's just that he's just that much older and it's harder to cut those few pounds. But I don't think that's ever because he's a career middleweight.
Yeah, exactly. Well, all of a sudden, I mean, he fought his throughout his 30s at 160. All of a sudden, he's starting reaching 38 years old, and all of a sudden, well, it's a problem. And by the way, he's a small middleweight, right? So 168 might not be a good idea, in my opinion, especially now that he's slowing down, fighting bigger guys. I don't know. I don't know. But guys, let's look at his career. All right. We're just looking at the present right now, but I want to look at his career and how good was he? Because there's some people, like I said, they really hate that guy for some reason. And so we're going to look at his career. So 39 wins, 35 KOs. That's a very high KO percentage. Now, here comes the controversy. So Triple G won the WBA middleweight title in 2010. Now, a lot of people claim that wasn't the real WBA belt because it was a WBA regular belt. So we can get into that if you guys want. But anyways, he won the WBA belt in 2010 and then lost it in 2018 when he fought Canelo Alvarez. So that's 21 title defenses. I think it's pretty impressive. And also taking into account, as I said, he was knocking everybody out. So what do you guys think about that? Let's just look at that. The defenses and the way he defended that title. What do you guys think about that? Impressive?
Impressive, yes. I had mentioned before one time that a lot of fighters ducked them, and I was told, everybody said, well, some people, that you don't get points for being ducked, but you do get points for fighting who's available. What else can you do, right? Nobody wants to fight you, then yeah, you've been winning, then nobody is available. I mean, what can you do? His resume is good. The simple fact that he was knocking everybody out, that Gives you
Now
extra
Wilder was also
credit, I think.
knocking everybody out. What's wrong with that?
Let me see. That's a
Quality
good
of
point.
opponents, better
Mhm.
matchups. Also, we're not talking about the heavyweight division where, guys are just more prone to getting knocked out or knocking one another out. He's doing it at a lighter weight class. And the technical proficiency at which a lot of these
That's what I was
knockouts come, whereas you see Wilder kind of waits and waits, sets it up, boom, hits him with the big right. Triple G is more like, I'm going to walk you down and just keep swinging that axe at you, and just chop you down little by little. And you can see on dudes' faces, man, like Curtis Stevens, Lemieux, you could tell they were in a lot of fucking pain, man. They were hurting that whole fight. Wilder's more of a caught you, now you're done.
Maybe that's
Curtis
more
Stevens
impressive.
was
Maybe that's more impressive.
175 pounder. He
What's
said that Curtis Stevens was a career light heavyweight, I think, or he fought at 175, and he said that I'm gonna come down to 160 and I'm gonna teach this guy a lesson and I'm gonna show everybody that he's not the boogeyman because I'm a bigger guy, I punch harder, but I can come down to 160. He said. What happened to him? That was a good win, top 10 rated opponent. Many top 10 rated opponents. People don't want to give him the credit for.
Guys, we have a phone call. 917. You're on the air. 917. Yeah, what's up? Sorry, you were muted. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm just going to get right to my opinion whether Golovkin should be considered an all-time great. Was the man great? Yes, he was. He was really good. He was great. But to be an all-time great, we think of guys like Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, Julio Cesar Chavez. Those guys are all-time greats, right? They hopped weight classes, were champions in different weight classes, undisputed and all that. And Golovkin, if he had at least gone to 168 and beat like an Andre Ward, then maybe. Or if he would have beaten Canelo, then I think we could maybe make a case. But because of him not having beat Canelo and having lost to, in my opinion, Derenchenko and Danny Jacobs, then he could be in Hall of Fame, but not an all-time great.
Was Hagler an all-time great?
Which fighter? I'm sorry.
Marvin Hagler. Sorry, Marvin Hagler.
Let's see. I didn't watch boxing all the way back then, but so I can't really compare.
Okay.
Can't really compare the two.
But he didn't lose to
because
Daniel Jacobs or Derenchenko. He won those fights.
Crazy.
Okay, one at a time. Gonzalo, go ahead.
He didn't lose to Derenchenko. He didn't lose to Jacobs either. He won those two fights. And why can't just people say, okay, he certainly won them on paper. And why can't they just say he got robbed against Canelo Alvarez instead of saying, oh, he lost that fight, but I think he lost against Derenchenko and Jacobs as well for a fact, 100%. No benefit of the doubt. People are quick to say, yes, he lost to Derenchenko and Jacobs, even though he got the win on paper, and he lost to Canelo when he clearly beat him the first time, and the second fight was close. That there's no shame in that, whether you give it to him or give it to the other guy.
Yeah, well, even if we were to agree on that, the whole staying at 160, I can't give him as much credit as someone like a Manny Pacquiao who has conquered multiple weight divisions. When if you want to give him the same title and the same accolade, right? He has to have at least accomplished something similar.
Manny Pacquiao had one defense at 140 pounds when he fought Ricky Hatton, and arguably that could have been his greatest fighting weight, where he could have done the most damage or fights, impressively. At 140, he never did. He decided to jump weight classes. Triple G had 21 title defenses and could have broken that record if he wouldn't have lost to to that Alvarez in that second fight, which was a fighter promoted by Bernard Hopkins and Oscar De La Hoya, coincidentally. So I mean, he was happy for that, Bernard Hopkins. Well, I'm trying to say 21 defenses. Manny Pacquiao only defended his title 140 pounds one time, and possibly in other divisions just the same, one or two times. So that could be seen like that as well. You don't have to skip division.
I mean, that's why I mentioned. That's why I mentioned Marvin Hagler, because he didn't move up in weight.
No.
People
And
are
it has to
mentioning
do with body type too. I'm sorry, but it has to do with body type as well. You talk about Manny Pacquiao; he's a bit of an extreme example where, I mean, he started out as this little skinny 18-year-old rail. You know, what was he? He was super flyweight, super. It was really low, junior flyweight, something. It was low, and you
And
know,
look,
grew into
now-
it. He
now-
grew up. You know, Triple G. You know him. The first time you saw him, he was already kind of grown into his man strength. You know, didn't have much more room to go up.
Yeah.
And also now you can skip divisions and jump around weights to duck fighters to give the appearance as you're doing something great, but then you're also avoiding other guys at that division.
Mikey Garcia.
Look, Canelo Alvarez can get the franchise and jump up and down to avoid certain fights and give the perception that he is doing something great, and he is, but then he's avoiding guys maybe at that division.
Caller. Is it more impressive to clean a division or to move up in weight and have win a title and then move up again and then win another title, but never really stay and clean it up? Go ahead.
I think you should clean out your weight division, become undisputed, and then move up the weight classes, ideally.
Mm-hmm.
So at least unify, become undisputed at 160. That's why I think, if he would have beaten Canelo, then I would, then maybe. But since he didn't, unless you want to also say now, Canelo, if Triple G is an all-time great, then so is Canelo. So is Andre Ward, and then you're gonna have to broaden the criteria, and suddenly more fighters will be considered all-time great. I think GGG, he's awesome, but he's a Hall of Famer, but all-time great, I just don't think so.
Okay. Well, we're gonna have to move on then. We have another phone call, but yeah, I understand what you're saying. But yeah, if you want to call back again, because we're gonna continue this discussion. Call back if you want, man. All right. I think it's gonna get heated up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
All right. We got another phone call. 626. You're on the air. 626.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hi, this is Chris K, aka Undercover Asian.
Oh, yeah. It's been a long time. Go ahead.
Hey, yeah. Yeah, you guys working from home, so I got all these Zoom meetings. I can't hear you guys in the middle of the day.
Ah, okay, I see. So what do you think about this?
Yeah, I think I agree with the previous caller. I'm Triple G is actually my favorite boxer, active boxer. And I went to New York from LA just to see him fight Jacob. So he's still, I really like him. I think that's an interesting point about, Hall of Famer versus all-time great. I think I'm going to go with Triple G being maybe one of the greatest middleweight fighters of this era.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the asterisks are, once he started to fight Jacob, there are so many X factors people were starting to consider, like his age, step up in competition.
Mm-hmm.
And then, obviously the two Canelo fights, are kind of controversial, especially the first one. So, I don't know. It's hard to say in boxing, too, because, like you said, there's a lot of ducking. So when Triple G was in his athletic prime, he could only fight who is available, right? It's not like the UFC where you basically have to fight the top guys, right? Canelo, didn't he step aside in 2015? He dropped the belt after he beat Cotto.
Yeah.
He dropped the middleweight.
I don't knock him for that, but that's what he did. He had never really truly faced a 160-pounder. I know he did fight Chavez, but I mean, to step in there with the beast like Golovkin in your first try, that would have been too much for the younger Canelo at the time. But yeah.
Yeah, and ironically, Canelo's kind of the bigger guy now, it seems. At least more muscular, heavier. Yeah, I think Triple G. Yeah, I think he's a really great boxer. But I feel like there's a lot of asterisks when you talk about him, especially in the last few years. It's kind of unfortunate he did come to the U.S. kind of late, right? I think he came when he was 30 or 31.
How old is he now? 38 minus
38.
8, 30.
I think
Yeah,
it was
30, 31.
2014. Proska, right? That was his U.S. debut.
Yeah, against Gregor Proska. Yeah.
Yeah, and he looked amazing in that fight. If you compare him just from the eye test, he's like darting in and out. He's doing that Tyson thing where you switch stances when you're in the pocket to get a different angle. So that's I feel like it's always a little bittersweet watching the old or younger Triple G because you kind of try to imagine what he could have done against Jacobs or Canelo if he was in his prime. So yeah, that's pretty much my opinion. I got to go with really great, but maybe not like a.
Yeah, maybe I phrased it incorrectly. Maybe it's a big word like all time great. What is that? We're talking top 5 of all time, or like let's just. Do you rank him in the top 5 best middleweights of all time?
Oh yeah. I'm not too familiar with to go that far back in history. Like I don't go much further back than like Hagler and Sugar Ray Leonard. Yeah, I guess the top 5 from what I know of the middleweight history, I would put him in the top 5 then.
Okay, perfect, man. Anything else?
Yeah, I don't think he had that legacy that like someone.
Yeah,
like
that's
Sugar
the
Ray
thing.
Leonard
That's
even,
a good point.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off, but that's a very good point. Like, what was his defining fight?
Yeah.
It was the
the
Canelo.
Canelo fights, and those are controversial. That's the unfortunate thing about I think Triple G's career.
Yeah, he should have won that first fight.
Maybe.
He should have won that first fight because he got dropped. So if he would have won that fight, it would be a completely different discussion, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's not too much asterisk really though. If you look at the record, he's only got 1 defeat, and that's by decision, and the other was he got robbed. So what's the only asterisk?
Jacobs. Some people think
Jacobs
Jacobs won the
dropped
fight.
everybody except Canelo. Everybody's hit the canvas at one point. Debriachenko, Jacobs,
I think
the 23 title defenses. Then before that, he had like a knockout streak as well in the beginning. So I mean, if you really look at asterisk, there's not too many you can point out.
Well, here's another piece of information. Go ahead.
Yeah, even with the Canelo rematch, it's a loss on paper, but man, that was super close, But that gets lost as well, how close it was.
Yeah, and it was a robbery. The first one and the second was close. So, I mean, fucking, just bad luck for the guy.
I don't want to see a third fight, either. I got to say that before I go. I don't want to see a third fight. I want to, but I don't. You know what I mean?
Because he's too old.
I think it's going to be. And it's going to be delayed another year, right? I mean, because I don't think either of those guys seem to be fighting this year. So September 2021. I mean, I think it's going to be sad.
Yeah, it's past his due date. But hey, man, thanks for calling in. All right.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Take care. All right. And by the way, another important piece of information over here: Gennady Golovkin has never been dropped in his career.
That world-class chin, sure.
World-class
power as well.
But who has he fought? Oh. Come on. He fought some big guys. Never been dropped. Never been fucking dropped. And by the way, Jacobs, guys, remember coming into the Golovkin fight, he was on a winning streak. He destroyed Peter Quillen in what was it, a round? In 1 round? I mean, this guy could crack. Jacobs, he's really a super middleweight. Never hurt Golovkin. All right, so you gotta give him credit for having that iron ass fucking chin. Mr. BDA is in the chat, says, he's talking to Uncle Apostrophe. All right, we have another phone call. It's a long distance call, 44782. What's up?
Hello, Bucha, can you hear me?
Yes, Kenshiro, go ahead. What's on your mind?
Hey, well, no, I've just obviously just come across your show on tonight. Yeah, I was going to say something, but I think a couple of people already said it on the chat, which I think is the most credible thing you can say, is that he was willing to fight anybody and everybody, but nobody's willing to fight him. And I think legacy-wise, you can only do what's, with what's in front of you. You can't talk about, oh, well, you never fought Muhammad Ali, you never fought bloody Sugar Ray Leonard, you never fought bloody, a boxer 50 years in the future. You can only do with what you got in front of you. And if you do everything you can possible, that's all anybody with half a brain cell should be willing to ask. You understand me? And
yes,
if people were throwing themselves under the table when he was knocking the door, what can you do? Unless you'll put a gun to your damn head, your wife's head saying, you better fight me now or I'm going to shoot her. There's nothing you can do. You can, unless you offer untold amounts of money, there's nothing, you can't blame him for that, Yeah, I mean, obviously, when I saw your title, I thought, yeah, it's, part of me wonders, what would a prime Triple G done in the era of the 80s, the Four Kings? Could he have been good enough to be the fifth king? If he fought Duran, Hearns, Leonard, Hagler, I mean, what do you guys think? A prime Triple G against those guys in the 80s?
That's a very good question. That's a question that I was gonna ask as well. I mean, against Monson as well, right? Could he have put up a good fight? I think yes, absolutely. This guy has the boxing skills, the power,
World-class jab.
world-class chin. We mentioned the chin, right? Absolutely, absolutely. I don't know what Revolution thinks. He's still there.
Yeah, it'd be interesting because he's it's such a different style too. He's bringing that Eastern style at a time.
Yeah.
When you're thinking of the Four Kings, that was a Mexican American. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. That's a good way to gauge.
Hagler, Hearns, Leonard, and Duran. You want to throw Monzon into the mix? Yeah. He's Argentinian, so yeah, it's all North and South American. So they hadn't even seen that style yet.
Panamanian, Central American.
Yeah.
Duran was Panamanian.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay. All right, my bad.
Somebody was mentioning Lara, Erislandy Lara. Remember when supposedly Golovkin was docking Erislandy Lara? Can we go back to that whole fucking thing? What do you guys think about that joke?
What weight was that? What weight was that going to be at?
160 apparently.
Lara fights at 160?
No. But they obviously like Lara was gonna move up, right? But Golovkin didn't want anything to do with Lara, supposedly.
That's Lara's responsibility to move up.
Nobody wanted to see that garbage fight.
He's got to come up and have a fight at 160 with somebody else and say, hey, look, I gave it to him. Come on, give it to me, Golovkin. I'm at your weight. He didn't. How could you duck somebody who's not even?
Yeah, I don't know. People on the internet, some of them are crazy.
That's honestly like making fights. Like, oh, I live in New York and you live in LA, and we're on the internet. Oh, come see me. We're on different sides of the country. Ain't shit happening.
Man, he got this. Yeah, he would have gotten knocked out, man. Canelo had that guy running. Imagine what Golovkin would have done. Get the fuck out of here. But Kenshiro, go ahead.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm looking at obviously in your chat right now there. Boxing Virus says he loses to all of them, 147 to 160 pounders. I mean, Triple G had the power. He never got knocked down once, let alone be knocked out. He was a brilliant technician. He come forward, I mean, it's interesting to see, people say this, but you think, listen, we can only speculate. It's like talking about, Pele better than Maradona. You can only talk about what you can look at statistics and figures. But in the day, he was knocking people out. He wasn't getting knocked down. And let's be honest, these people, the power-wise, I mean, is it fair to say that people of today are even stronger than the people of 20, 30 years ago? You've got better training, better vitamins. Look, athletes, Carl Lewis, brilliant runner. Look today, those records are getting blitzed.
Good point. Yeah.
you can say, well, if you brought that same person back from the 80s into today, and they've got the same genes, they eat different, they could be better. That's true, but we can only go with what's today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, it's relative, right? Golovkin, let's say, he's in better shape, but then again, so are his opponents. But yeah, but looking at his career, like, so what do you think of when people mention or question Golovkin's record? Was it bad, good, average?
Well, in the more absurd, listen, he had like 23 knockouts in a row. I mean, that's I think better than Mike Tyson. You know, he was knocking people out. He never run from nobody. He's coming forward. He didn't do a Floyd Mayweather and run around the ring. You know, he was coming forward all the time. He was chasing people down. You know, and his boxing skills are phenomenal. He's not Deontay Wilder where he's only got one. You know, he's just a knockout artist, and that is the end of it. Okay, so he wasn't as flashy as Leonard, for example. You know, or speed wise, but in the day, you're not going to be, you know, the ultimate boxer with every single attribute to hand. You know, you're the best puncher, you've got the best speed. You know, there's no such, unless you're a bloody cyborg, it's not going to happen. You can only do what you can do, and I think he was phenomenal. I mean, there was nobody really that gave him a torrid time. Name, you know, it's like Prince Nazim. He was brilliant, you know, getting towards the end, but Barrera had his number. He exposed Nazim Hamid for what he was. Who has truly exposed Triple G? Okay, he's getting old. Age-wise, is probably exposing him. But listen, you can't beat Father Time, man. When the jewels of time come for you, there's nothing you can do. You know, you can as much as you want to do. But apart from Father Time, who has really put him in his place?
Good point. Gonzalo, you want to take that question?
Yeah, and Kenshiro, the combinations of the skill set that he does possess is good because he has a good chin, he's got good power. He can eat a shot. He don't have to move around. He can take the shot and land his zone like he did against Daniel Gill. When Daniel Gill connected it, and he wasn't too concerned about having to reset himself to land his zone. So that's a good combination of things. It's not like a puncher. Let's say, for example, Terry Norris or Julian Jackson that can't necessarily take the same type of shot. That, you know, you could get knocked out in the process while setting yourself up to land your own. That you can't achieve the second part of what you're trying to do. Golovkin can take the shot and still rebound and come back with his own shot because he's probably not going to get knocked out. So who's really exposed Triple G?
Yeah,
I mean, if prime for prime, if you would have had Triple G versus Canelo, just imagine that outcome. Because even the old Triple G's competing got robbed the first time and he lost a close second fight. And against Davidiachenko, I mean, he ain't no spring chicken either, but he's younger than Triple G. So necessarily, like, he never got exposed in his prime. He didn't.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I was wondering is why, unless I'm wrong, you guys can correct me, but has Triple G always been a 160 guy? Or has he gone to 168 at times?
Nope.
Never.
Never. 160 all the time.
Yeah, I don't. That's one thing I respect about Canelo. I mean, you know, we can take the piss out of him with the tainted beef and whatever, but the dude has been fighting 147, 154, 16, 168, 175. What? I mean, I get. My opinion, guys, and it's just my opinion. You should only stay at one weight if you're super heavyweight. If God made you that big, then if you're Tyson Fury, you're not going to come down to bloody middleweight. You know what I mean? That's the only time you should stay. You should stay one weight when you're bloody 6'6" and God gave birth to a juggernaut. You know what I mean? Otherwise, you know, yeah, you can stay one weight. I don't understand why Triple G never went up the rank. I mean, you know, listen, I'm not a boxer, but 8 pounds, 15 pounds, is that going to make a massive difference to his frame? I don't know. You guys tell me.
I think 15 pounds is a lot.
Yeah, one division is a lot because if you're not that big, there's guys that are actually bigger than you. So the slightest change in the speed and the little advantage you gain in power
the reach,
combined with that speed,
not only
more power.
And the reach.
Athleticism.
It's the whole
reach, the dimensions.
Yeah. But anyway, Kenshiro, we got to move on. We got another phone call, all right? But thanks for calling.
No, thanks, man. Stay safe, guys.
All right, take care. I'm gonna have a phone call. 773 on the air. 773.
Triple Gangster.
Yo.
My favorite fighter in a long time. Gotta go. What can I say about him? I'll say this. That Daniel Jacobs fight, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Daniel Jacobs purposely miss weigh-in or he skipped a weigh-in?
Yeah, he didn't want to make the limit, right? What was it? He didn't respect the rehydration clause. Yeah.
The rehydration clause, the second
Yeah.
weigh-in to make sure you don't balloon up a bunch of weight. He didn't do that. He skipped it, and he gave up a belt on purpose to do that, just so he'd have an advantage over Triple G, and he still lost. He tried to cheat the system, and he still lost. And Canelo, what'd he do? He failed the drug test, his clenbuterol, and Triple G went in there and fought him anyways, and he got robbed. And he got robbed in that fight. And this is him at 35, 36, 37 years old, way past his prime, fighting a juiced-up Canelo. Who knows what else he's on? He's got the every political side in boxing on his side. He's got the money on his side. He's going against the entire Mexican boxing market with, what's this called? Oscar De La Hoya, Golden Boy on his side. They're probably paying off judges, paying off drug testing commissions. So Triple G, he beat Canelo twice. He won both those fights, and now people are saying he should have moved up and fought Andre Ward at 168 when it's not like he's some big 154 pounder. That's just absurd, the amount of ridiculous I hear. He should have fought Andre Ward. Andre Ward is 168 pounds, more than 10 pounds bigger than him. That makes absolutely no sense.
So Triple G not only fought Canelo, he fought the system. He was fighting against the system.
He didn't fight just Canelo, he fought the system. He was just some poor Eastern European with no backing, no support, and he was going against the machine that is the Mexican boxing market. Everyone knows they control it. They got the boxing market by the balls regarding their power and influence. That's why you got people like Oscar De La Hoya, Golden Boy Promotions. They got so much swing and pull. But I will say this. Triple G, the only time the people want to judge his fights from when he's 36, 37 years old, in his prime, they didn't want to fight him. Nobody wanted to fight him. He fought the best he could at that time in his weight class. He's not going to move up and wait and fight these monsters who are way bigger than him, just as skilled. Andre Ward, that's just, you're asking for trouble. Canelo Alvarez, his head turned into a square from all the steroids. His head turned into a fucking square. Can you guys believe that? You go back and look at him back in the day and look at the shape of his head. That's what happens when you do steroids. Your head turns into a square. And
HGH.
When you got the money and the power, the influence, you're allowed to get away with that. How did he move up in so much weight? Because he's injecting fucking rocket fuel into his system. That's why.
Hey, Kevin. Somebody in the chat is saying, what big fight has Triple G won? No legacy. What do you have to say about that?
He beat Daniel Jacobs at the end of his prime. That was his big win, and he got robbed by Canelo. That was also his big win. Everyone knows he won that fight. He's 36 years old, and he got robbed, clear as day. The judges, Adelaide Bird, the whole system was against him. He got robbed. That was supposed to be his retirement party. He's supposed to go out on top in that fight, get his win, and walk out the door. They robbed him. The rematch, they robbed him again. That's horseshit. Everyone.
And he also,
and what he do?
He also beat Devrichenko, and if Devrichenko goes on to win the Charlo fight, that win's gonna look more impressive.
And what did he do? He fought Devrichenko. This is the Devrichenko who Canelo gave up his belt to avoid. He vacated his belt not to fight Devrichenko. Do you remember that? Of course you remember that. This is not.
Just think if
when you're going right into another-
Devrichenko schools Charlo, what do we think of that win now?
I mean, I think it's a big win regardless if one of the wins or loses, because I think both those guys took a lot out of them. Big fight. But you're right. If he goes out there and beats Devrichenko, or if Devrichenko goes out there and beats Charlo, it'll just be another notch on Triple G's record. But you can't fault Triple G for the fights that people. He just did what he had to do. He was winning in his weight class against the names available at the time. People were avoiding him. They were avoiding him. They wanted nothing to do with Triple G in his prime. The only time they wanted to fight him when he was 35 years old. All his long amateur background, his long pro background, and now he's getting up there. They saw it might have been slowing down in that who's that English dude he fought? Who's the English dude he fought?
Mark Murray.
What?
Mark Murray?
No,
Not
Devrichenko,
the English,
Rolls.
the black English.
He was Canadian. Steve Rolls.
No.
Steve Rolls?
No. This is before
Kell Brook.
that. The smaller guy.
Oh, Kell Brook.
Kell Brook.
Kell
You're going,
Brooks, yeah.
you're going way
They
back.
saw he might have had a chink in his armor. He was slowing down, and they're like, okay, I'll fight him now. When Kell Brooks stepped up, they said, oh, maybe I'll step in and have a go with him now. They see he's human.
Kevin, do you remember the 24/7 with before the Jacobs Golovkin fight? Jacobs said in that 24/7 show that he was watching the Kell Brook Golovkin fight, and he was saying he's exposed, he's getting exposed, just because he was getting hit by Kell Brook, and so maybe that's why he took the fight.
Yeah, that's it. They saw it. Kell Brook, he didn't look himself. He's obviously slowing down. How old was he in that fight? Got to be mid-30s. 34, 35 years old.
Yeah.
That's not prime. Boxing is a young man's sport. 23, 24, 25, 26. Those numbers is when you should be at your peak performance, not 34 years old. But I'll leave it to you with this. Israel Diaz just got Canelo's dick deep down his throat.
Oh.
You know Canelo's been picked. He's been picked. He's the golden boy. He has been everything handed to him. Not exactly handed to him, but everything in his favor. Matchups, contract agreements, judging. The whole political sphere has been on his side. This is non-negotiable. This is A-side stuff. Just like Floyd Mayweather, when he was able to call his shots and dictate how he wanted to run things, he had the same thing go on. So Triple G's never had that. He's had a fight for everything he's gotten. He's never had the upper hand. He's always been the poor, struggling Eastern European that had to fight to make it, unlike a lot of these spoiled, rotten American boxers. How about that? Why don't you eat that one, Israel, you piece of shit?
Yeah, he's a little fucking fanboy. He said that Canelo got the Matrix defense. You know, Canelo gets hit a lot too. If you look at his fights, yeah, he can parry, he can slip and roll some shots, but he gets hit a lot too.
Yeah, when he
I've been
gets into
watching some of his
exchanges.
fights.
Yeah. I mean, he can evade a jab and all that. He looks like awesome, but he gets hit on the inside as well. So, but anyways, Kevin, anything else? No, I think he got. All right, that was Kevin from Chicago. Very passionate call. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Yeah, he be calling. He got some good points sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely true.
Guys, phone lines are open. Call in. We're gonna. Well, I opened StreamYard. If you wanna also jump in through StreamYard, you can do so.
Sergio Martinez could have fought him. Freaking Billy Joe Saunders.
Yeah,
could have fought him.
Somebody in the chat mentioned, he told me to mention the fact that he was avoided by many fighters, which is true, and we did mention it. But when you say that somebody was avoided, in a way, you're also saying that he didn't obviously fight these guys. So how can he be considered a great boxer if he didn't even fight them?
Freaking damn. What is it? Demetrius Andrade could have fought him 2 years ago. Freaking Jermel Charlo could have. They haven't. These guys are 30 and they're not old. They're 30, 31, but they're in their prime. When there's guys that are like 22,
Yeah.
20, like Teofimo Lopez, possibly Virgil Ortiz, that are looking for these title opportunities. These guys fucking.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
They're
Listen,
busy. They're MIA, man.
Saunders is another one.
yeah, Saunders. Look at this guy. We're shitting on Golovkin that he didn't fight this guy. He didn't fight, but then again, we have like Gonzalo said, these young guys that are now entering their 30s who still haven't fought anybody. And we're not making a big deal out of this. We're just focusing on Golovkin. Oh, Golovkin this, Golovkin that. But we're not. Nobody talks about the fact that Charlo hasn't fought anybody until today, and he's like the same age as
That's
Canelo.
right.
Dude, and
he's younger, so it could be perceived that he can get away with it. But these years, these 1, 2, 3 years going back in retrospective, they're crucial because if Charlo would have stepped up and fought Triple G and he would have got beaten, then he would have got thrown in the bus and he would have been considered what he possibly is now, catching fighters at the tail end of their careers.
Yeah.
So it's
By the way,
crucial to avoid
Gonzalo,
the
I think
Golovkin.
you know somebody's microphone is like making a lot of noise, so crackling or shit like that. So I don't know who it is. Just letting you know. I think it was Gonzalo, but yeah, good point. Great point, man.
And you
Go
got to
ahead.
think, yo, in boxing too is like the only sport where like ducking can happen. Really, when you think about it, like if you go to like football, you got the Super Bowl, right? Say
Yeah.
one team goes undefeated the whole regular season, right? Undefeated the whole season, right? And it comes down to the Super Bowl. Well, the undefeated team, they say, hey, you know what? I'm not facing them. We're not facing that other team. Fuck that. No. We already got our 16 wins. We ain't facing you in the Super Bowl. And then you got the other team standing there like, okay.
Yeah, no,
and
exactly.
There's going to be that argument made. Hey, they could have won the fucking Super Bowl. They should have been that.
Yeah, of course. There's no rankings.
It's up to the fans to have to decipher who was the best at the time, and there's opinions. No, it's.
Well, that's boxing for you, and not even MMA. I mean, the MMA, at least it's a different structure, right? But they get the fights done, man. The fights that need to take place. You know who the best guy is. There's no fucking debates, man. By the way, Tony in the chat says he may have been docked by some, but you can't credit boxers for fights they didn't have. So that's basically what I was saying. But I guess you do have to take that into account. They didn't want to fight him for a reason. But I understand what you're saying.
You can't credit boxers for fight that they didn't have, but you can give them credit for fighting the ones that are available. What else can you?
Yeah.
You can't give them credit for fighting, and you can't discredit them for not fighting. It's just sucks.
I was gonna say, Mr. E, thank you for your contribution. He says big drama. It's big drama show. Triple G tried more than most to entertain. That's a good fucking point. Entertain. He was there to put on a show. I like that type of those type of boxers that they want to put on a show. Eric Morales was one of those fighters. I mean, fuck. Remember against when he fought Pacquiao the first time? Then in the last round of that fight, he switched to the southpaw stand. Started trading with Pacquiao, and then Larry Merchant asked him after the fight, "Why did you do that?" or something like that. And he said, "Like, I just wanted to give the fans a show." And then he asked Larry Merchant, "Did you like it?" And he's like, "Absolutely," or something like. So this guy, man, Morales, Golovkin, they understand, and that's also this. So I want to mention this. A lot of people question why Golovkin became popular, right? And not a lot of people, some people, you know who they are, started bringing up the race card, started saying that Golovkin was the only reason why he was popular was because he kept saying Mexican style and Mexicans because they're just stupid, right? They just hear Mexican style and supposedly they just turned up to Golovkin fights, which wasn't the case. And also they started claiming that white people were behind Golovkin just because that guy looks white. That's not it. You're dumb. You don't understand boxing. That's the difference between you and all of us on this show, on this channel. We like boxing fights. We like entertainment. Yes, technique is part of it, but also we want, if you're really a good boxer, you're gonna destroy your opponents. That the reason why Golovkin had so much power is because he has amazing technical abilities. He knows how to throw a punch. He's not slapping. Slapping like these guys, American style. A lot of them they're just slappers. This guy had the right fundamentals, and that's what he was knocking people out, and that's why he became popular. Also, he was consistently fighting. He wasn't fighting once a year, once every 2 years. You're not gonna become a star doing that type of shit. It's just logical. You guys are fucking dumb. By the way, we have Kevin again. I think it's Kevin. Kevin, what's up? Oh, I think he's muted. But anyways,
it's also strong. The technique applied with the maybe heavy bones, because he can take a punch, so he's obviously like physically strong. He's got good bone density, and muscle wise, he's like in shape.
Yeah,
So
no,
the
absolutely. I
strength
mean,
combined with the technique, yes.
Yeah, some freakish physics. I mean, do you see that guy? His wrists, the size of his wrists are thick, and the type of exercises he also did. Remember, he was like working the wrists, the forearms, and everything.
Kettlebell.
That helps.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was a freak of nature as well. Don't get me wrong. Oh, I think. What? You're not muted, man. I'm talking to Kevin. He says unmute me.
I mean, look, that freaking he came on late against Canelo. I thought he won like 4 of the last 6 rounds against Canelo. He didn't win maybe the 11th and the 9th. Canelo won those, but he came on strong. So his conditioning is still good. And Debriachenko, since he wanted to become champion in that second opportunity, it was 5 years in the making since his first loss to Daniel Jacobs.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's destined to be champion. He's the technician. Which fighter named the technician like Debriachenko with that good of a skill set? Like, I mean, this third try, he might not win it, but we think of a fighter of like Debriachenko's caliber, he should be champion. So, I mean, what I'm trying to say is Debriachenko gave it his all. And Triple G won that fight. And like I said, he came on strong against the second Canelo fight. He might still have it in him where his stamina is still good if he prepares, that he might turn in a signature performance if he gets the right opponent in there. And I'm not talking about Karim Sedimenta. He's got to fight somebody worthy. Worthy where he can go in there with the winning mentality and put a notch on his belt.
I agree. By the way, Kevin and Kenshiro, you guys on StreamYard, so jump in if you want.
Oh no, I'll listen to you guys. It sounds interesting what you guys say.
Perfect. By the way,
I
Mr.
got
Erie,
something for you. How
Go
about
ahead.
this?
Yes.
People were comparing past and prime, the past champions of old versus the champions now. Triple G versus those guys. You can't compare them because most of those guys were on steroids. You go back and look at those guys were all juiced to the gills. I mean, look at some of those fighters back in the day. Their veins were bulging out like they were on every type of PED you could think of. No one can deny this. The drug testing back then was non-existent. Evander Holyfield, for example, they're trying to compare him with Usyk. Evander Holyfield was a walking syringe.
Well, yeah, I mean, yes. All right, well, you're going in an extreme case over here. Yeah, he was on fucking something. But no, we get your point.
Mucho.
We get your point. But Israel Diaz is. Hold on. I just want to read these comments. Sorry, this comment. Israel Diaz saying that John Gonzalez, if Canelo didn't have Matrix defense, he would have gotten knocked out cold when he fought Triple G. Canelo rarely gets bruises. What do you guys think about that?
I'm not John Gonzalez. I'm Gonzalo.
Yeah, I thought it was Gonzalez.
Canelo don't get bruises. He got bruised up by freaking Kovalev. His whole forehead was bruised up because he decided to block the shots, and he was getting hit. And Canelo's got a good chin, but he was getting hit also. Hey, Bucho, I was gonna say, look, Debriachenko fought the fight of his life, don't you think, against Triple G, and still came up short.
Yeah. That's a good point.
The fight of
right?
his fucking life, man. He fought his fucking heart out.
Yeah.
That was a great performance by Davidiachenko.
Yeah, he
And
was.
Triple G still won.
I'll tell you what I would have loved to see as well is
Good point.
Triple G versus Iran Barkley. You know, when Iran Barkley, he was a big dude for 160. He was.
Yeah. And I still think, I mean, obviously, I think Golovkin's chin holds up against any fucking middleweight. His chin's out of this world, man. His chin is insane, man.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Granite.
It's like, if I don't think that would have been Triple G that night against Davidiachenko becomes champion. He was a fighter destined to become champion, but you had Triple G in front of him. Imagine that, a fighter like Davidiachenko, the technician, never becoming champion. That's going to be a dangerous fight, good fight, 50-50 fight against Charlo.
Yeah. Yeah, but going back to what...
he was a good fighter. He's a good fighter, Davidiachenko.
Going back to what you said, I mean, Davidiachenko, I mean, he gave his 100% against an old aging Golovkin. So what does that tell you about Golovkin? By the way, somebody's mic
I think Golovkin still showed up.
Yeah. Go ahead.
He showed up big time.
Yeah.
Showed up with his big hog.
How much past his
handle
prime
it.
is
He
he?
still folded.
Yeah.
I mean, he came out strong against Canelo. The last 4 of the 6 rounds, I gave to Triple G. Yeah, Canelo fought a great fight. But, I mean, that was such a close fight that the older man looked, stamina-wise, he looked equal, or if not superior, to Canelo. Because he won the later rounds. So what I'm trying to say, he still might have enough in the tank. He rolled over Steve Rolls. I mean, he steamrolled him.
I'm still surprised why Triple G didn't select Charlo himself for the 160 or that Japanese guy Murata. That I'm surprised personally, unless he's got some mandatory coming up. You know, get an extra belt.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if people have been too excited to still want him to pit their fighters against Triple G. I think promoters still are ducking Golovkin. It's not a sure bet that you put the best guy you got at 160, any champion, and that they're going to beat Golovkin. I mean, geez, doesn't Golovkin have the title right now too? He's still a champion, and we're dismissing him like if he's a has-been.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know this is what the show's about, but he's still a title holder. And Canelo don't want no part of Triple G in the third fight. He said, I've already beat him 2 times. I don't want to face him a third time. Like BDA was saying, you know, he must have felt something that didn't feel good.
Yeah. Tito,
He rather fight an alcoholic, washed up Sergey Kovalev. Who's
Who are the champions right now at 160? Who's got the belt?
All right, out of the top of my head here, Charlo has a LDBC belt. Golovkin has the IBF.
That's a good belt, IBF.
WBO is
Does Murata have one, or is he 168? He's got belt.
No, 160.
Yeah.
Then the Panamanian guy, what's his name again? Well, he's not American Panamanian. Jesus Christ, what the fuck? My mind's blank. The WBO champion.
Andrade.
And then I don't know who has the WBA. See, I don't even know what's going on. But Murata. Oh God, Murata has a WBA. So yeah, listen, you're right, Gonzalo. He's still a champion. You know, we're talking as if he's he's a nobody now. He's a champion,
like a gatekeeper or something.
Like a gatekeeper. Well, and even if even if he was a gatekeeper, then listen, Andrade should fight this guy, right? He hasn't fought anybody. I mean, that would be his biggest win.
That'd be a unification fight, man. What about the legacy? Let's unify. Let's take Triple
Nobody
G's
cares.
Belts.
That's the thing. Nobody cares about this guy. Nobody cares about Charlo. Well, now he's finally fighting Davidiachenko, but for the longest of time, if you criticize Charlo, it was hate. Oh, you're just a hater. Right? Even though he's like the same age as Canelo, hasn't fought anybody. And let's see how he does against Davidiachenko, because that's like we're saying on this show, it's a fucking tough fight.
Imagine these guys that are ducking Triple G, like the Charlos and the Andrades of the world, how would they do at 38 years old?
I don't
Would they
think
be
we're gonna be.
champions?
I don't think they're
Would
gonna
they
be
have
boxing.
belts? No.
They won't be
Triple
boxing.
G's got a belt right now. He's
They're
got
not
2
gonna be
belts.
boxing. They're fucking gonna be retired by then. So yeah, all this hate, it's just disgusting. By the way, we have a phone call. Let's take a phone call. 954, you're on the air. 954. Guys, you should mute your mic if you're not talking, please.
TV here. Let's talk a little bit about the middleweight division, 160. Who's fucking with Gennady Triple G Golovkin is the question I have for you guys. Okay.
What's the question again?
Let's talk a little bit about the middleweight division, 160. Who's fucking with Gennady Triple G Golovkin?
Who's fucking with him?
Hardly anybody.
No. Nobody.
Even now, yeah, I would agree. I think we're kind of underestimating him a little bit.
People seem to think he's one of the all-time greats already. So it's a lot of, crazy ass extremes on both sides. Okay, for Gennady Golovkin.
Is that John Boxing?
I personally feel that Gennady Golovkin is the best fighter at 160 pounds.
All right.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree.
I think that Gennady Golovkin is about to unleash. If he stays at 160, he's about to unleash a reign of terror in the middleweight division.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyways, man.
We're getting punked.
Yeah, I know. It's like it's a recording.
I think that's John Boxing.
Middleweight in the world, according to Ring Magazine.
Oh, it's BDA. I think it's no, it can't be. Anyways, I was like, wait a minute, what? He's not even. At first, I think he was delayed or something. Yeah, it's a recording of 78. That's what I thought, man. His voice sounds familiar. But anyways,
Hey, Bucho.
boy, did he just say that Golovkin was the best middleweight? I can't believe he would have said that. Well, go ahead, Kenshiro.
Who actually I'm quite intrigued. I don't know why, but I'm actually intrigued. Who does the local deadbeat community think is the best 160 then? Obviously, he's not going to be Triple G because he's white. So who is it then?
I guess Charlo. No, and it's true. I mean, think about it. Who else is there?
Hey, can I bring up another point, Mucho?
Yeah.
If Triple G doesn't have the greatest resume at 160 pounds, who's got a better resume than him in the last 20 years?
Hopkins.
At middleweight.
Hopkins.
In the last 20 years?
James
At
Toney?
20. Well, how 20? We're going to the 1990. Yeah.
Okay,
I don't know.
Hopkins. In this
Keith
era,
Holmes. Keith Holmes.
currently,
I don't know.
it's got to be Triple G's got the best resume.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Because everybody else skipped around. Canelo only fought there 2 times. How many times has Canelo
wait,
fight at
that's
160? Like 2 times, 1 time? The first fight and the second fight? Maybe the Chavez 3, and Jacobs 4 fights at 160.
What about that Welsh fighter? The one who beat Hopkins. Joe Kazagi.
Yeah, what about him?
Did he fight at 160 or not?
No, 168.
Oh, okay, fair enough. My mistake then.
No, that's a good point. No, he has a good record. Amazing. I mean, a lot of defenses, knockouts. I agree that he didn't have that defining fight. Well, he did have that defining fight against Canelo, in which he was robbed, right? So he didn't get that win. So that's, I think, the problem here with Golovkin. He did beat Jacobs. I don't know. What do you guys think? Did he miss that big win because he was robbed?
But I don't know. It's hard to say. Yeah. For like the big win because there was a lot of there's a lot of high expectations when this guy from Russia, from Kagan, how do you say his country?
Who? Kazakhstan.
Yeah. There's a lot of high expectations to see this guy. He's walking people down like the Terminator. You know, and then when he was knocking everybody out, the biggest KO puncher in the division, he faced maybe Jacobs and Canelo and didn't knock them out. And they didn't knock them out. They were like, oh, we had such high expectations that they kind of went unfulfilled in most people's eyes. Maybe that's what's happening.
Yeah, you're not going to knock out the cream of the crop. Jacobs, Derevchenko, Canelo, that's a tall order to go out there and knock those guys out, especially with Jacobs, who cheated the system, purposely skipped the weigh-in, way bigger than him. Canelo on rocket fuel, you're not going to knock that guy out. Derevchenko, really underrated. The technician, people avoided him. So asking him to knock out those guys, that's just an impossible task.
Guys, we have a phone call. 715. You're on the air. 715.
Talk to me.
All right. Hey, can you guys hear me all right?
A little bit. Can you just turn up your volume just a little bit?
Sure. How's this?
It gets better. Just yell at them at your phone. Go ahead.
All right, hold on 1 second, guys. All right, is this better?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. This is my first time calling, so I thought I'd just give my opinion on Golovkin in the middleweight division. Like you guys are saying, he's definitely one of the best middleweights in a long time, and a lot of people like to try to discredit him. Saying just because he's white, and they all argue that he's that way just because the hype that he's getting. And real people who watch boxing, like real boxing fans, it's great. It's entertaining to see the media hype up, your guy. But he has to show what he has in the ring. And for Golovkin, they go, oh, he's just a brawler. These, I don't think these guys really watch the sport because, I don't know. I'm from America. Football here. I played in high school. I was a big fan, a student of the sport, and when you watch it on Sunday, you see it a lot differently than a lot of people do. People go to games, they just go there to drink, and then it's the same thing as boxing. They just see Triple G walking forward and they go, he's simple, he's just a brute, he's a brawler. But that's not the case. He's very technical. He has a great amateur background. He has the ability to beat a lot of people in front of him. But what hurts him a lot is that when he was there, he was too high of a risk and too low rewards for the people at the top of the sport. And now that he's aging, like Canelo, they they think that maybe they can pick him off. But I don't think you can hold that against Triple G. He waited, he was there for Sergio Martinez. That fight never happened. Cotto Canelo got delayed because of PEDs. And at the end of the day, the guys who don't like Golovkin, they don't really have an argument because you ask them, who could Golovkin have fought to enhance his legacy during the time that, he was in America, 2012 to 2016, from there to Canelo? They really don't have an answer because he may have said 154 to 168, but that's because when he said that, he was trying to get his name out there. And he wanted a Mayweather Pac fight or, big fight at 168. But none of those guys wanted it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I totally agree. Totally, he's not hype. He's more substance. Yeah, and who doesn't like to see boxers that go toe to toe? And he's substance because he's got the power. He's a knockout artist, and he's got the chin. How many back foot fighters? Would are easier to people say, oh, they're really good boxers, but they are really hype fighters because can you get a back foot fighter, a slick fighter to become a puncher? No, because they never had the power. Can you have a fighter who has no chin go in there and trade shots? No, because you can't buy a chin. And it's easier for people to have a perception that one of those guys, oh yeah, he can move around. He's moving around because he don't want to engage. And you can't buy those things that come innately to a fighter like Triple G that has the substance, and it's not just hype. The power, the chin, and certainly the boxing ability that you speak of.
And the volume. He's
Yeah,
got
no,
a high volume.
but also, I know you mentioned about Triple G being white, but he's biracial. His mother's Korean. He's half Asian.
Yeah. That's why I
Yeah.
said he looks white, but I mean, you can get technical.
Yeah, he's half Kazakhstani and half Korean or something like that.
A quarter.
But I mean, like, people see him and they go, like he's Eastern European, he's speaking Russian. People like to make a lot of assumptions before they, they know a person. And like, that's one of the biggest problems, in the sport in the world, we're too quick to judge.
He might as well be 100% German to the LDBC.
Yeah, there's no difference for them.
Yeah, KKK instead of Triple G. The Kazakh Golovkin.
Anything else, caller?
Like,
good call, man.
Yeah. Like, I just think like that's the craziest thing because as a real boxing fan of the sport, like I watch it. I love the technique. Like chess match fights. Those are things I like. And like GGG is just not a brute. He's actually he's an accomplished boxer. In Canelo's second fight, Canelo didn't back down. He kept on coming forward, and like Triple G wasn't going to stand there and trade shots with a younger, faster fighter, in that short range. And I think he surprised a lot of people, showing that he can only go forward, but like a forward fighter could also box on the back foot. Because you compare what Triple G did to Canelo versus what Canelo did to Triple G the first time around. Some points Canelo was literally walking backwards, like no stance, nothing, just to get away from Triple G.
Right.
But Triple G kept on circling the ring.
And like you said, in that second fight, Triple G was moving just backwards to create that separation, enough space to be able to turn his shots, because he's a little lengthier than Canelo. He's got longer arms. He's 5'10.5". So stepping backwards as a mid-range puncher gives you the ability to get the range, the appropriate range that you need. So that he was doing that. I agree.
Anything else, caller?
Nope. Thanks for having me, guys, man. You guys are doing great. Good content.
Thanks for calling in,
Great
man.
call, man. You went full race pimp on us.
All right, thanks, man. That's a good call. That's what we want on this show. But we also want people to, we want people who disagree to call in. We're not gonna jump on you or anything. We like to have a little bit of a debate here. All right, we have Brian. Brian, what's up? What's on your mind?
Okay, I was just listening to Triple G debate. How is everyone on the panel? But I agree with the last caller. I think Triple G has minor subtleties in his offense and in his defense. He's just not a straightforward walking guy. His head movement, he's got good head movement. He's got good timing. He can brawl. He can box. I just think he is very underrated in a lot of areas, and he's got probably an all-time great chin. I think his chin, all-time.
Well, what about his record? Come on.
I personally wouldn't. I personally wouldn't rate him so high on the head movement part. I think he's kind of straight up, and the reason he's not when he faces these elite guys, he's not going to the body. Because he slowed down just a little bit, that he does get countered upstairs.
Yeah.
He's got a good judging of the distance with the jab, but as far as like lateral side-to-side head movement, he's not like that, in my opinion.
No, but it's just a minor subtlety, like he doesn't just walk straight in. A lot of these people think, he walks straight in, and if you throw a straight right down the pipe, you're going to catch him. Not always the case. He holds a high guard. He blocks. He blocks a lot of shots from long range. He's a decent boxer on the back foot. When he is in the back foot, he's got good balance. And I just think a lot of these things are underrated.
Yeah, and it might be the subtlety that I haven't paid attention to, because if you duck a punch, you don't have to like really make a real big effort. Just if you can miss it by the slightest of distances, you're there to counter your opponent back. So he might have a good ability to subtly to duck a punch.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to mute your mic if you're not gonna be talking because there's background noise sometimes and it's like crackling sounds and it's fucking annoying. By the way, Chris K in the chat is saying Canelo ran. He ran in that first Triple G fight and circling the second fight, and then Israel Diaz replied by saying that Canelo never ran. He was boxing. I don't think he ran, but he was certainly walking back in that first fight. Canelo was walking back.
Yeah,
like
he looked for a boxing term. He looked off balance at certain points, going backwards.
Yeah, he
And
was
that
just
fight,
avoiding. He was avoiding Golovkin. That's why I didn't give him many runs. He was inactive and he's just walking back. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, he just like at certain points in that fight, he just looked off balance. His lateral movement. I don't think Canelo has great lateral movement going backwards. I think he's more of a come forward or stand in front of you type of guy, and he blocks a lot of shots. Canelo's got great head movement. I think it's a very underrated part of his game, but Golovkin is also very good at cutting down the ring, which, if you are not great on the back foot, can make it awkward. And I think Canelo did make it look awkward at times, Triple G did make it look awkward at times. Now, he back foot annoying.
The thing about Triple G's head movement is that's his style. His style is to take one to give one. So if you want him to go out there and be herky jerky, shoulder rolling, bobbing and weaving, he's not going to go out there and knock people out. He's not going to go out there and land power punches. He's going to be a point fighter trying to herky jerk and play that little point fighting game. That's not his style. His style is to go in there, high guard, and knock you out. Land power shots on you, power jabs,
damage,
big straight rights. So that's just it's not a style.
Yeah, that's probably.
I wouldn't say, Kevin, that his style is to take one or give one. He could certainly do that. He can fall back on that better than anybody else because he got the chin. But I mean, he has defensive qualities too.
No, he does. He has defensive qualities, but Gonzalo, you have to admit that there's many times that Golovkin, because he understood that there was no danger coming from his opponent, so he basically just tried to walk them forward. Like, for example, the Kell Brook fight, this other guy, the American guys he fought, what's his name again? Dominic Wade. And all these other guys. He didn't give a fuck. And he was getting hit.
And not everybody's blessed to have that plan B that can resort to that. Because he's got the chin. So if you got boxing ability, but then you got chin, you're more of a complete fighter.
Yeah, right? But hold on. Did he walk forward against David Lemieux? Did he just put his fight with his high guard and just walked forward? No, he showed us boxing abilities in that fight. He fucking outboxed and then destroyed Lemieux. So this guy is not. Yeah, go ahead.
I think he looked. Sorry. Go ahead.
But I also wonder with Triple G if his own success was his own curse, because he was doing so well that people were just trying to avoid him, kind of like Lomachenko. It's only when what's his name? I can't remember the Latino guy who knocked him down that people started to then jump on the bandwagon. It's like if you're so good, then people try to avoid you. But then people say, "Well, you didn't fight the best," but that's not my fault. People were avoiding me because I was so good. Nope. It's only when I'm losing or something, or people see a crack, that's when they come fighting for me.
I agree, because look, if you look on film, I guess fighters could see that he was never rocked or staggered in any of his where he even missed the step or got put off balance. So it was pretty discouraging to say, well, I want to face this champion that's never been rocked before and that can certainly punch himself. That's very dissuading. What's the word? It wouldn't encourage too many fighters to want to fight him.
Yeah, let's go back to the style thing. I want to go back to the style of.
He's the James Toney of the middleweight division. He just looks unnerved about that. Just looks calm about every situation.
Yep.
I think he can get hit and it's whatever. He's not one for showing his feelings in the ring. He's not an emotional fighter. Well, he
just after the
calm
Canelo fight, just after the
on
second
everything.
Canelo fight.
Yeah.
Kevin, go ahead.
I think that's what scares people.
Okay, hold on, one thing. Kevin wants to say something. Kevin, go ahead.
I just want to touch back on the style, the Triple G style. Like I have no doubt. I think Triple G can go out there and bob and weave, stick and move, but he would rather. He prides himself on the Mexican style. You know, that was his whole gimmick. Mexican style, come forward, be exciting, put on a drama show, big drama show. He likes to break people, go in there and break their will, get in there and knock them out, hurt them, and really make it a fight out of it. He's not going to go out there and Demetrius Andrade stick and move to a boring decision. That's not his style. So I just don't. The head movement argument, I don't know. Just it's a weird thing. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
Well, like I said again, I think like we said on the show, he has a plan A and a plan B. And listen, a lot of times Golovkin fought Mexican style, like you mentioned, Kevin, because he understood that in order to become a superstar, which is logical, you need to put on a good show, right? He's not one of those boxers who stinks out a joint and then starts crying about, oh, they don't like me, and then they pull out the race card and that's why they don't want to see me box. No, because you're fucking boring. Golovkin, on the other hand, he understood what he had to do, fight consistently and put on good fucking shows. And so maybe sometimes he took more punches than he should have, but he was doing it on purpose. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I think too. He was trying to put on a show. And when it comes to that David Lemieux being able to box, it's not like it wasn't a boring fight. Those jabs he was really hitting them with those jabs. Those were not just regular jabs to keep him off him. He was landing those jabs to hurt him. He was really putting it on him. So I agree. He really was never in like a boring fight. He was always in there to entertain, put on a show, big drama show.
Yep. Was part of the plan.
I think Triple G is one of the best jabs in boxing.
True.
In all divisions. I honestly do. I think he is the most consistent, probably the most powerful jab, probably in all of boxing today. I honestly do. He jabs to hurt you. He lands. When he lands, he wants to hurt you. He wants you to feel every single punch. He puts so much power, and I think a lot of people too. Yeah, and I think a lot of people too underestimate his stamina. I think he's got very good stamina.
He looked pretty good against
I think he could do 12 rounds easily.
He looked better than Canelo in the 10th round. He almost knocked out Canelo. Canelo was the one that was fading.
Yeah, that's right. The 12th round he fought it well too, Bucho. If you go back and watch that round, the 11th and the 12th.
Yeah. No,
he threw the last volley of punches when the bell rang. That was Triple G, giving it a real good effort.
Yeah. Absolutely. Right.
He's the hunter.
I think that's another.
He's the hunter. There's always a hunter, and there's always somebody getting hunted. Yeah, in the second Canelo fight, you could give the appearance that Canelo was trying to hunt Triple G down, but by the end of that fight, I mean, who looked worse for wear? It was a close fight, man. You can't really say that Canelo was hunting down Triple G.
No.
Or that Deveryachenko was hunting down Triple G. No. That Deveryachenko fight, he looked like Mildred Taylor by the end of that fight.
You can't say Canelo schooled him.
No, and I've heard that. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But we should have had a third fight
nobody
right
can
away.
Say that, or nobody can say that was straight.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. What BDA said that he must have felt something, because Canelo's speaking about like he dominated Triple G in both fights, and what's this guy in the chat? Israel Diaz was saying, "Oh no, you should keep up with the news." That he's been calling out Triple G for like the third fight. Well, yeah, but like we said, these last years are like really, really important in Triple G's career. That if you prolong it like 6 months, 1 year, especially with the COVID now, but even before that. They drew out that third fight, that rubber match. Like 1 year is significant time in Triple G's career. Yeah, he's been wanting to fight him now, but as 1 year, year and a half go by, that's a lot of precious time for Triple G that benefits Canelo.
Gonzalo, didn't Golovkin say that he didn't want to fight in September because he wanted to fight somebody else before Canelo?
That might have happened. Yeah, that
So
might have happened.
what is like?
But even before that, how much time happened between the second
No,
and the
yeah,
third
no,
fight?
of course. But I'm talking recently. But go ahead.
Also,
Yeah.
yeah. Also, Canelo is now worrying about 168 division. No, he's not in the 160. So he's worrying more about the super middleweight division, not the middleweight division.
Yeah. Well, Golovkin would be.
That's what I'm
up.
saying. It's like they're speaking about how being a great fighter is jumping divisions. But can you honestly say for a fact that Canelo is moving up, that he's not moving up because he's not ducking? I can't say that he is, and I can't say that he's not. He's certainly a great fighter. I'm not going to discredit him. But one thing that I'm saying that it's a possibility that he might be like not looking to take the tough fights by moving up.
Yeah, and by the way, Canelo always talks about the fans, and he loves the fans. He gives fans what they want. Well, fans wanted the third fight. So did he stop listening to the fans? Why? That's convenient. All of a sudden, I'm not gonna listen to the fans, right? No, like this guy. I think it's a duck. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's outgrown 168. I think he can't or 160. I think he can't sustain 160 pounds.
Well, that's. But Golovkin's willing to move up. Golovkin's willing to move up.
What do you think's a harder fight for him right now? Triple G at 38 years old, maybe even going to be 39, or a Demetrius Andrade? What's a tougher fight for him, for Canelo at this point?
Triple G, man. I'm not convinced with Andrade yet. And
Andrade's unproven.
He's young, but so what? I mean, skill-wise, I don't think he's a threat. Style-wise, I don't think he's a threat.
He can't hurt Canelo. Can't hurt.
So exactly.
They might say, he might not have the footwork to chase him down. That might be true, but I mean, is it the puncher's job to always pursue the other guy because you have the perception that he's the puncher and he's the one that's supposed to stalk down the American slick fighter or a slick fighter? That's the perception. But I think the judges are slowly starting to understand that maybe that used to be in when Mayweather was fighting, but certainly not what the fans are looking for right now. Because a lot of people underrate flat-footed fighters. Look, to be a flat-footed fighter, you got to be a flat-footed fighter for a reason. Is there fighters that can move swifter on their feet? Yes, there is. But can those swift fighters punch as effectively as a flat-footed fighter? No, because you're planting your feet on the canvas for a reason, and that's to punch with authority. So they might say, well, he can't move as good as a guy that's more fleet-footed. Well, there's a reason fighters fight flat-footed. So it's not always the job of that guy to chase the other guy that doesn't want to engage. That's just my thinking.
Sorry. Go ahead.
My second point, how about this? But the thing is, they're not going to give Canelo credit if he goes out there and beats Triple G at 40 years old. They're going to say, yeah, Triple G was washed up. He fought him. He gave him the third fight at the very, very end of his career, whatever. Now, if he goes out there and beats an in-prime Demetrius Andrade, no one's going to be able to say shit. They're going to say, yeah, he beat a champion in his prime and took his belt. So you got to look at it that way, too.
Yeah, it's game over. I don't want to see
Kevin, in that fight, Demetrius Andrade better come to fight. He just, I'm going to get on my bicycle. And the judges are going to be, look, I'm the slick fighter. Nah.
Demetrius Andrade better hope he don't get in the ring with Canelo and get knocked the fuck out.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I don't know, man. He's pretty dangerous. He's got power.
If Cool Kai can rock
you have to believe in
what the
yourself
hell is
to have a
Canelo
flat
going to
footed.
do when he lands? Come on, man. Get it.
Yeah. So, Stu, we're talking about Golovkin, and, we're looking back at his career and trying to judge, analyze his career and see how good was the guy. You know what I mean? Was he an all-time great? Was he a top 5 middleweight? Was he a hype job?
That guy is best with trouble. That guy is best with trouble any middleweight in any era. The problem with Golovkin He spent a lot of his career fighting cants. Let's be Prosker, fucking Macklin. I mean, fucking.
Yeah.
If there's a can around, Golovkin's fought him, and that's the problem with Golovkin. It's not his fault because a lot of these guys were ducking him. At his best, any man in the history of heavyweight division, it'd cause nightmares for. Let's be real. I mean, he beat Canelo in the first fight, and Canelo's up for me the best fighter in the world. So that's how good Golovkin is. But when you look at that resume, I mean, just does it fill you with excitement? Let's just say that. Not me. Just look at him.
No,
you're
right.
You're
right.
Look, Canelo. The couple of fights with Canelo obviously looks good on the resume, doesn't it? And then you look at Jacobs. That's a good win, you know. But he's struggling after that.
Hey, Stu, what if Deveryachenko knocks out Charlo? How would that win look for
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I mean, Golovkin in his prime goes through Derevchenko like a doorway. I've said that before. You know, at the end of the day, Golovkin's a shadow of the man he was. So what does it mean? I don't know what it means. I mean, if Derevchenko knocks Charlo out, which I doubt he will, I mean, Charlo's finished. Let's be real. There's no way back from getting knocked out by Derevchenko. There's just no way back.
Oh, no.
But, you know, like I said, with Golovkin, you know, if I was Golovkin, I'd go after Andrade because with Golovkin, he could land on Andrade, and then if he does, Andrade's asleep. You know, so that'd be my bet. Instead of chasing Canelo around and not taking a fucking good idea while you're doing it, you know, go and get in there with Andrade or someone like that. With these other champions, Charlo. That's what Golovkin should be doing. You know? I mean, I think Golovkin could resurrect his career a little bit if he goes and beats one of these young lions, but.
Yeah, Stu, listen, be realistic. Stu, hold on. Can I just say something? Let's be realistic over here. Golovkin has already been robbed of a victory against Canelo.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter about the scorecards. The boxing fans, but they know who won it. I always say Golovkin won that fight.
But Stu, let me just finish this point. So this is now we have a 38-year-old Golovkin. Put yourself in his shoes, right? You're gonna go for the Canelo fight because you want the money. And second of all, let's say you take that other route and you fight Andrade. Who is Eddie? Who are they gonna fucking try to help? Andrade, because he's a younger guy. He has more.
But the thing is, they can't help a guy when he's sleeping on the canvas.
Well, okay, fair enough. But if it doesn't happen, I mean,
the thing with Canelo, Golovkin is not going to sleep Canelo. You're going to need a fucking sledgehammer to sleep that guy, and he ain't got one. So look, this is how it is. I mean, is he going to beat Canelo on the cards? No. So what's he wasting his time for?
Money.
He's had his. It's 1-1.
You do the same thing.
If I was Golovkin, I'd sail out into the sunset, be happy with the victory that most boxing fans think he got in the first one, and be done with it. If he gets in there with Canelo again in the third fight, this Canelo is a different breed to the one he fought in the first fight. He's going to get smashed to pieces. I'm telling you that now, he will.
Yeah, because
if Derevchenko's sitting there, if Derevchenko's landing nearly everything he throws, what is a man like Canelo going to do? One of the best precise counter punches in the game. It's going to be a massacre. I'm telling you, I've told you that before.
So he should go and fight.
If you're a Golovkin fan, you should want him nowhere near Canelo Alvarez because Canelo's got his number now. And
I'd say make that fight happen, but make it happen now. It should have already happened. Yeah, that's one thing. Yeah, Canelo's just in his prime, and this guy, it should have already happened.
Look, Canelo's not stupid.
Should have, would have, could have.
Canelo's not stupid. Do you think Canelo would have fought Golovkin when Golovkin was at his prime, just going through people like a machine? He's part of
that's it in a nutshell.
Hey, listen, if I can see Golovkin start slowing down and getting easier to beat, then a guy like Canelo is going to see it from a mile away. And I think that's in the first fight. Canelo, I don't think he believed he could win that fight. I really don't. He went in there in the first few rounds just hoping to survive. But then when he realised how to beat Golovkin, which is throw punches and push him back because nothing comes back when you do that, I think he worked out how to beat Golovkin just a bit too late on the cards for me. But in the second fight, from the start, pushed Golovkin back, and I don't see how anyone had Golovkin winning that fight because I thought he got pieced up. I really do.
Hey guys, we have a phone call, so let's take it right now.
Let's do it.
719, you're on the air. 719.
Yeah, I mean not Canelo, but Golovkin. Is he an all-time great?
That's right.
In my opinion, that's a fuck no. with a capital F.
Jesus.
Yeah, big surprise. Get this clown off the line.
Yeah,
Big
but the thing is,
surprise.
though, the thing is, though, you'd stick James Toney as an all-time great, which is James Toney was a great fighter. But you know, if James Toney's on the list, Golovkin's got to be on.
Look, right now, I even forgot this myself. You know, we keep dismissing Golovkin's a champion. He's the IPF, IPO. Where's Charlo? Where's Andrade? Where's all these fighters that could be fighting them that are in their early 30s, 29 years old?
Yeah.
Why haven't they called them out?
Yeah, but the IBO title, I mean, you could fucking win them in Happy Meals. I mean,
Well, he's still IBF. IBF solid. IBF is a solid.
Yeah,
belt.
IBF. All right. Where are
What are
these
you
guys?
talking about? IBF is a world championship. That's a respectable belt.
Yeah. Brotherhood, you want to expand upon what you just said?
Yeah, let me ask a question before I get on to what I was gonna say. Well, you saying Golovkin deserved to be called an all-time great because he had a few belts. One that he ain't even win one of the belts. He got elevated to super champion. The one he won, I think he won one versus fucking Daniel Gill or something. And goddamn
David Lemieux.
What's his name?
David Lemieux. Yeah.
David Lemieux. Who the fuck is David Lemieux? A fucking all-time great? Was he pound for pound? Fuck no. So why is we dubbing Golovkin pound for pound for beating people like this? Y'all don't
20 title defenses. 20 title defenses. Most all time.
Oh, now we talking about title defenses, but when it comes out there, it ain't about title defenses. It's about level of competition. So let's keep.
How many title defenses did Wilder get?
Well, just bring it back a little, Kevin.
Yeah, but
Triple G.
Sven Otka.
How
Look
many
at Sven
other
Otka.
all-time greats are there in the division now that Triple G could have fought to elevate his resume? How many other all-time greats?
I could ask you the same about Wilder.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, well, I think Wilder is manufactured. I mean, there was a lot of good guys there that could give Wilder a good fight, and he chose to fight the Dominic Brazils of this world. So that's manufactured. But with Golovkin, I think at the time Golovkin was like,
Wilder.
No,
Wilder had fucking
yeah, but nobody wanted him.
But
Nobody wanted
before they fought him.
Nobody wanted part of
Triple G
Golovkin. Though. That's the
simply-
problem.
Yeah,
When Golovkin
there's
was
no
at his
four
best,
kings
nobody
right
wanted
now.
him.
There's no four kings like in the 80s. There's only one king. Yeah, Canelo, but he moved up in weight, and he got a draw at first fight, which he should have won.
That's what I'm saying. With Golovkin, though, how many camps did he waste at Big Bear fighting for Marta Rosian, Kell Brook, fucking Macklin? You know, the list goes on.
But even if he would have fought Charlo, even if you would have fought what's the Irish guy from England, Stu?
Blake Golovkin.
You know about Macklin?
Macklin.
No, the guy that made those comments about women.
You know about Andy Lee?
No, Joe Saunders. He's English.
Billy Joe.
Yeah.
Oh, Billy Joe Saunders. Yeah, he's not Irish. He's an English.
Were those guys though? But what other guys were there for him to fight that are all-time greats? How many kings were there? Like the 80s.
Yeah, this is the problem with what Golovkin had. A lot of the guys that he was in the division where.
Okay. Hold on.
Hang on a second. One at a time. He was in the
Finish your
division.
point.
He was in a division where there wasn't really many. A lot of the top fighters were young fucking sort of guys coming through, being built up. They weren't ready for Golovkin at all. They'd have got smashed to pieces. So Golovkin was getting like fed cannon fodder, like Proska and people like that. I mean, and this is my problem with Golovkin. Just go through the resume. There's just some horrible fucking names on there that have no business. I mean, look, Steve Rolls, another one.
Okay, but he saw. Okay, that doesn't. Okay, Stu, that's like later in the last part of his career.
No, it's not though. You know, he could have fought better guys than Steve Rolls. Come on.
All right. By the way, okay, hold on, guys. There's too many people in here now. Before we take another phone call, I just want to. So, Brotherhood, you mentioned Andre Ward, right? You think that fight should have happened?
Yeah, if he actually cared about his legacy.
Okay. What do you guys think?
Yeah, but if people are moaning about the size of Danny Jacobs, how big would Andre Ward be in there against him? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Andre Ward wins that fight. Golovkin, you saw the size that caused him problems against Jacobs because he looks a part, but he's a small guy at middle. He's not a massive middleweight. and his attributes are not that. You know, he hasn't got long arms. He's not tall and rangy. So Jacobs was a monster in there, and he couldn't handle Jacobs. What's he going to do with Andre Ward, a guy that's going to be like 200 on the night, 200 pounds? Come on.
Nah, man. Man, Jacobs ain't big. He just tall. He ain't fucking big. You see the size of Golovkin's
Jacobs was 190 pounds in there against Golovkin.
My fucking dresser.
Man. Jacobs was 190 pounds in there against Golovkin that night. I guarantee you he was.
At least.
Nah, man.
All right, guys. We got another phone call, so let's take it at the same time.
I just wanted to say one more thing, man.
We can stay on the line if you want.
Y'all talk the whole fucking time.
All right, what do you want to say?
I'm just saying, Triple G didn't look bad because he was falling off and getting older. He looked bad because he stepped up in competition. He was looking bad ever since he fought Kell Brook. And then from there, he just looked pretty average for the rest of his career. So don't try to say he got old.
That's a bit unfair, because let's be real.
That's what people love to say, that to try to cover up for him getting pieced up all of these years.
Pieced up by who? By Canelo? Jacobs pieced him up? Who pieced him up? What are you talking about? Who pissed him up?
How many losses he
Who
got?
pissed him up? What is this shit? All right, hold on. He didn't piss him. He got destroyed. He got decided. What are you talking about? Hold on.
You can't pick a little fucking moment from a fight that's probably 5 seconds of Kell Brook doing something and then live off it. I mean, let's be real. Look what happened to Kell Brook.
It was round. Kell Brook was whooping that ass for rounds. He didn't even knock Kell Brook down, bro.
I don't think you saw the end of the fight. I think you turned that off before the end.
Kell Brook's face. He literally broke his face.
Less than 6 rounds and 5 rounds, he was out of there.
This man at 160 couldn't even do it.
I think the Golovkin. I mean, when you stick a world-class welterweight in there with the middleweight, the welterweight is going to be a lot faster, quicker, and he's going to look good for a few rounds. But as soon as the middleweight lands, you see what happens.
Triple G didn't give a fuck.
Broke his face.
All right, guys.
Can I sum that up? Can I sum that up in a few sentences?
Brook wasn't landing combos on Earl Spence then.
All right. Hold on.
Hey,
Brian, quickly. Go ahead.
Okay, what would happen to Amir Khan Canelo, right? Believe it or not, Khan was piecing up Canelo until Canelo landed on him.
Not in the world I live in. He did.
Well, he was jabbing and moving. I get it. He was the faster guy in there.
That's what makes Pacquiao very dangerous. Because he can the speed, but he's a guy heavy hands for a small guy that he can compete against bigger guys.
Look, hey, don't you guys realize? Don't you guys see it when someone's carrying a fight? You saw Floyd Robert Guerrero. Canelo carried Amir Khan. Canelo could have sparked Amir Khan clean out any time he wanted to. And the fact that these people, well, Khan was winning a few through the early rounds, looked good. No, he didn't. Look what happened. He was sleeping on the fucking canvas. So look. Canelo carried that fight because it was a farce. Let's be real, it was a fucking farce.
Oh, that was a joke. Guys, we kind of a phone call. All right, hold on. 954, you're on the air. 954.
Hey guys, how you doing?
What's up? What's on your mind?
First of all, I find it kind of ironic that you guys are having a conversation about a middleweight on Carlos Monzon's birthday, and the original record holder of the middleweight title defense record. So
no, there's a middleweight. That's a proper middleweight there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, world champions galore on his name, and those that weren't, like Benny Briscoe, were the toughest guy that didn't have a title. But when we talk about Golovkin, so there's never mind. I'm unfortunately I have to go. I wish I could have talked longer. But I got something I got to handle real quick.
All right.
Yeah, bro. I was looking forward to what you had to say there.
And Golovkin's a great fighter. Take care.
All right. Thank you for going. Go ahead, Stu.
He had like some unforeseen circumstance. Or something.
Go ahead, Stu.
I think his missus started to undo the zip and the concentration went, didn't it?
Yeah. All right. Oh, it's Slugger. What's up?
What's going on, fellas?
There we go.
Man? What's on your mind, Slugger?
What's going on? What are we talking about, my man? GGG?
That's right. The hype job. The hype job.
The hype job. What do you mean the hype job? What are you talking about?
Triple gangster.
Huh? Triple G, listen. Triple G at 160 can fucking knock out, what's his name? What's that bitch boy's name?
Andrade.
Charlo?
What?
Who? Charlo?
Andrade.
No.
You're about Charlo or Andrade? Because
listen,
that's got to be one of them
Triple
two.
G, listen, Triple G at 160 will fucking knock out Sergey Kovalev at 175.
Oh, get out
Hold on.
Hey, Slugger Sam, Triple G still champion.
Let me finish.
I forgot. You still got a belt.
Go ahead.
He'll knock out. Listen, GGG at 160 will fucking knock out Dylan White at heavyweight.
Come
okay,
on, man.
calm
Get
down
out of here,
now.
man.
Get out of here.
What the guy that couldn't knock Derevchenko out's going to knock Dillian White out? Get out of here, man.
Hey, listen.
He didn't even
put on a
Kell
fucking
Brooks
show. There's a conspiracy about it. He was told to put on a show or he wasn't going to get paid.
By the way,
I have no idea what's going on here.
Mr. E in the chat, thank you for your contribution. He says the Brotherhood takeover boring as fuck. I'm off. So he's tired of the Brotherhood. Interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, that's what you
I can
just
see
saved
why.
me
I mean,
75
What are we
what a
talking
load of
about here,
nonsense.
fellas?
Look,
What are we talking about?
Golovkin's not handling Beterbiev. Never mind fucking a heavyweight. Come on, man. Golovkin's finished. In his prime, he could have handled these guys. Of course,
Listen to
the
me.
guy can't.
Listen to me.
Look,
If
the
that's
guy
true,
can't get out of the
listen.
way of punches. Just look at him. Every time you see him fight, he looks like a fucking truck has hit him. The guy can't get out of the way of shots. He's done.
me,
He's shot to pieces.
He might be finished, but as long as he's still champion, that's counting for his legacy right now.
Listen, look, he's still good enough. He's still good enough to beat most of these guys. I'm not saying he's not good enough to, but I'm saying when you compare him to now to his best, million miles away.
Listen, if that fruitcake fanboy Tank Davis can knock out a heavyweight, Triple G will knock out anybody. All right.
Hey, name me one heavyweight that Tank Davis is going to knock out.
Apparently, he knocked out a heavyweight.
Oh, who said that shit, man? That's like Prince Muhammad knocking out cruiserweights.
That's what I heard. I heard it on ES News. I heard it on ES News.
What? Some fucking guy that's fucking had about 20 pints and staggering off a stool. Yeah, that's about it. Because any heavyweight that can fight is not getting taken out by a Tank. I can assure you that now. Have you seen how? Hey, do you know how small Tank Davis is? I mean, I'm actually happy when I get a fucking girl that weighs Tank's weight. Never mind a fucking fighter. Do you know what I mean? Look, the guy's small. He looks quite. The telly makes him look bigger and stronger. When you see him on the street, you just see a little guy. How can you put him against heavyweight? Come on.
He's a fat guy. That's why they call him Tank, because he's a fat boy.
No, they call him Tank. They call him Tank because as a kid, he was just fucking fighting everyone and going through these kids like doorways. Tank Davis is a tough kid, but to put him up against a fucking heavyweight, come on, man.
Okay, so apparently Eli Sekbak is the source of this news that Davis knocked out a heavyweight. So
yes, Eli Sekbak is a reliable source. Let's not try and play that game now, here, fellas. He's not. Listen. Hold on. Let's not compare Eli Sekbak to Charlie Zilnoff. It's not the same shit.
No, I think
we're both arseholes. I know that. Look, Eli Sekbak.
Sammy, are you
are you really going to listen to Eli fucking Sekbak, the guy that just hangs on to fighters like some fucking some disease and hopes that he gets something out of it?
Listen, I admit he's a fruitcake fanboy. I admit he's a fruitcake fanboy, and he's got his mouth so far up Mikey Garcia's dick. I understand that. All right? That doesn't mean he's not a reliable source.
Yeah, it does to me. I mean, come on, man. At least set back.
Of course he does. He's a freaking parasite. That's what he is. He's a parasite. He likes to latch on to people like a parasite.
He looks like a fucking parasite. You ever seen his
Slugger the
eyes?
Sammer's a Jew. That's what you are. You're a Jew, ain't you?
I'm not a Jew, you cocksucker. You take that back. You take that back, you cocksucker. Motherfucker.
Only a Jew would defend Eli Sekbak.
I don't give a fuck what he is. I don't give a fuck if he's a Jew, a Muslim, a fucking Buddhist, a Christian. I don't give a rat's ass what he is.
All right.
Remember when Tyson Fury kicked him out of the conference? He said, "Get the fuck out, you Jew weasel."
Oh man, did he?
Well, you know who else called
Jewish
him a
Mexican.
Jew, right?
Who?
Freddie
Jewish
Freddie
Mexican.
Roach. Freddie Roach called him a fucking Jew.
All right.
Freddie Roach knows his shit.
All right, let's move on, guys. Well, this is YouTube, by the way. All right.
Listen,
So-
Bucho,
Yes. Yes.
I'll make you a deal. If your video gets taken down because of my fruitcake mouth, I'll give you $1,000. All right.
All right.
I don't want your video getting taken down.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
I'll help you out a little bit.
Jesus, where were we before this fucking chaos? What were we talking?
Triple G. Triple G.
Triple G. All right. Brotherhood, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, say something
Wait,
controversial.
hold on. You got that bitch boy brotherhood on here? You kidding me right now?
All right, calm down, man.
Hold on a sec.
Yeah, man.
Wait a sec. You got that fucking fruitcake fanboy? Wait a sec. What the fuck you doing here, brotherhood?
Get him, Slugger.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Brotherhood, what the fuck you doing on here?
Get the
I told you
slugger
don't
out.
show up. I told you don't show your face
I
on here
work-
again.
I work here, motherfucker. What you doing here?
Listen, get your bitch boy fruitcake fanboy out of here. Get
All right,
out
let's
of
calm
here.
down. Jesus Christ. All right. Where do we go from here? What the fuck? Now I'm confused. Stu, you want to take this? Oh, he's gone. Stu's
Bucho,
gone.
what's there to listen, Bucho, what's there to be concerned about, huh? That's the guy that got our channel taken down. Get him out of here.
We've never
Get
been
him outta
taken
here.
down. We've never been taken down. All right. Slugger.
Brotherhood, you
you
reported us. Brotherhood, you reported us, motherfucker.
Yeah, we've never been taken down, but anyways.
Fruitcake fanboy.
All right.
Fruitcake
I'm
fanboy.
waiting to see what happens with the Devyachenko Charlo fight. If Devyachenko does well, it's hard for me to not conceive Devyachenko becoming a champion with the guy named the Technician with that skill set to never accomplish it. There's fighters that are far less than Devyachenko that have become champion. So I mean, yeah, Charlo's good. He's stepping into his prime. He's a counter puncher. That's a style to beat a guy that darts in and out. Because even like the great Manny Pacquiao had a hard time against Marcus because he didn't feel comfortable coming in and out. So a guy that like Charlo that's a counter puncher can catch Devyachenko. Now, what am I mentioning that for? Because if Devyachenko wins, now in that win adds to GGG's legacy as well. But Charlo might win that fight, especially because he took a beating.
Well, I don't think Devyachenko
we'll
can
see.
win a decision. I mean, can Devyachenko win a decision?
Whether he
He's
gets
not
robbed or
gonna
not,
promise
if
that's
he
what I'm
still
saying.
wins the
Mix it
decision,
up.
if he wins the fight but loses it on the judge's hands,
That's what
I'm
I'm
still
saying.
gonna give Triple G more credit
Kevin, go ahead.
because it.
Hey, but I got a
Because he
question,
might not
man.
be as faded. Go ahead.
How many
Go ahead.
How many top 10 pound for pound fighters have Triple G beat?
Many.
Pound for pound, he's
Top
saying.
10?
Zero.
So
Be
what?
honest, zero.
So what?
Top 10 or pound for
No,
pound?
he didn't beat one. I ain't talking about no hypothetical.
All right.
Canelo
Hold on.
Top 10 ranked or pound for pound fighters? Top 10 or pound for pound?
Pound for pound.
All right.
Pound for pound. I think Jacobs was pound for pound. Davidchenko. Well, there's
Hell no,
not
he
so
wasn't.
many
Well, hold
middleweights in the
on.
pound for pound.
All right, hold on. Brotherhood, did you ever have Andre Ward as your pound for pound boxer?
He was on my list when he was around.
Can you name me the pound for pound boxers that he beat to make it into the number one pound for pound before Kovalev? Because I know you're gonna say Kovalev.
Before Kovalev,
Yeah, because he
beat
was-
Carl Froch.
Carl Froch. He was a pound for pounder. He was a top 10 pound for pounder.
He's a legend.
Huh? He's a legend. Yeah, but he wasn't a pound
No,
for
but-
pounder.
Carl Froch.
The
Well, he's
thing
an
about
English
those
legend.
wins, Bucho, that the Super 6 was in 2011. That was like over 10 years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah.
They
But
had him
he-
pound for pound.
I know,
Like in
but-
the 19 or what was 2017?
Yeah, but whatever. I'm saying, did he beat a pound for pounder?
Not in the latter part
No,
of his
you don't
career.
need to beat a pound for pounder. That's the thing. That doesn't make sense. Listen, there's top 10. There's 10 fighters that make it into that fucking list, right? And how many divisions do you have? 15 or something? I forgot.
Like
14,
17.
whatever. 17. Holy shit! All right. So, like,
I think.
not
I'm almost
everybody
sure, but I'm
has a chance to fight a pound for pounder. So, but you can
Man,
become a
with
pound
that
for
logic-
pounder.
With that logic, bro, Julius Ndongo was going to the Hall of Fame. In y'all
Why?
opinion?
Why?
With that logic, y'all.
No, there's no. Why? Because he had like 2 belts or something.
That's my point. Like
No,
you don't gotta
the-
if you don't gotta beat somebody that's pound for pound to get to Hall of Fame or be a great.
How many
then
years
what's
was
the
he a
Yeah,
logic?
champion?
no, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true
Go
though,
on
because
then.
there's certain fighters in the Hall of Fame that don't have that real great signature win. So yeah, I agree with that. But you've got to be
I don't see it like
excited.
that. Look, brotherhood. Who's is Triple G a world champion right now? He's got American
Yeah,
belt,
he just won a
IBF.
vacant. Yeah, he just won a vacant
Yeah.
belt.
There you have it. Okay.
See, the way I see it, man, there's so many belts around, just handing them out like fucking cakes. So I you
agree with
know, is Golovkin the true champ of the middleweight division right now? Not for me yet,
The
because
IBF is an American organization. Okay, the WBC is Mexican,
yeah,
the
but
WBA from South America. And for Americans to disregard or discredit Golovkin or dismiss so easily, he's got a belt that belongs to an American organization.
yeah, but the reason
That's
Americans don't like the reason Americans don't like fighting for the IBF is because they make you fight for your mandatories. They make you fight your mandatories, and that's why a lot of these American fighters.
Wait. How is WBC a Mexican organization? If y'all say the WBC was the same people protecting Wilder and Stevenson.
well,
Make some
it's
sense of
it's
that.
not it's a world organization, but it originates in Mexico.
I didn't
Yeah,
know
I mean,
Wilder and
you know what it
Stevenson
is.
were
It might originate from Mexico, but that corny little fucker that's running it right now is so far up Al Heyman's arse. You can see the fucking tread of his trainers, man.
Well, yeah,
So
but you
Canelo
know
or
he's
Al
gonna
Heyman
cater
fighting
to
now.
Mexican fighters too, and maybe American. He's gonna cater to North America more. Well, not even. I might be wrong by saying that, but he
Hey,
might
how
have
is
his
it?
perks
Hey,
in for the
no,
Mexicans.
listen, mate. How has the WBC been allowed to get away with what they've done to Dillian White? How did they get away with letting
Yeah, no, it doesn't
Deontay
make. There's
Wilder
no
fight?
rules.
No, hang on a minute. How did they get away with letting Wilder fight Stavern twice and people like that? You know, how did they get away with it?
It wasn't his fault. He fought Stavern twice.
Oh,
It was
get out of here,
Mexican
man!
fault.
Fuck, it's a farce. That
Y'all
belt.
don't know boxing, man.
Yeah, Stu,
Y'all
3
don't know
words.
boxing.
At their discretion.
What do you mean? Listen, I don't know boxing. Listen, all right, fair enough. I don't know boxing, but I do know one thing: the WBC is a farce. I know that.
Yeah,
They're all about money. That's why Cotto decided to drop his belt when he was fighting. Who was he fighting, Bucho? That they wanted $1 million. 10%. That's because they're all about money.
All right, Stu. Stu, if you go through the rules, of the WBC, at the end of every sentence, at their discretion.
Listen, man. Listen,
Fair enough.
they're an
That
absolute
is
farce,
true.
bro.
I know.
I mean, look how Leo Santa Cruz can go up the weight divisions, impress nobody, bore everyone to death. Yet he goes up a weight division and he's there. He's the #1 contender straight away. He's in there. He will nick a title. Look, it's a farce, man. Come on, man.
There's no
WBC
rule
belt.
of
I mean,
law.
it's not worth.
Wait,
Look,
didn't
that
the
you
WBO
go
do the
shot
same
by a
thing
Louis
with Terence
Vuitton belt.
Crawford?
That's probably got more credibility than that fucking WBC
So what
belt.
belt's got the most credibility, you think, Stu?
None of them, because none of them. They're all the same, aren't they? I mean, let's be real. I decide who I think the best in the division, and I call him the champ. And that's it. That's enough for me.
All right.
I don't
No,
sit there
here's the real question. Another question. How do you determine who's a pound for pounder?
seconds.
How do I what? Determine who's a pound
How
for
do you
pounder?
determine who's a pound for pound boxer? Because that's
There's
the thing. This is what
there's
Golovkin's
loads of. You know, you got to look at the resume, the guys he's fought, the wins.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
how he's performed on the road. You can't have a guy fighting at home all his life, and then as soon as he gets out of his comfort zone, like Anthony Joshua, falls to pieces. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
A true champion, a true pound for pound fight is like Usyk. Go and watch it. Go and look at his resume and where he's fought. You get Joshua gets. I mean, let's be real. America's not exactly out of the comfort zone either. They speak the same as we do. It's a Western fucking society.
Andrew
one of the
Ward.
best countries in the one of the best countries in the
Andrew
world. Let's be
Ward.
real. I mean, let's be real.
10 seconds.
Stu, Andrew Ward fighting in
The
Oakland.
minute he got out of his comfort zone, fell to pieces. That's not a true
speaking
champion.
facts now. Stu's spot on. Tell him, Stu.
Yeah, when then you look at Fury fights Klitschko in Germany, fights Wilder twice in the States. That's a true champion.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way fighter.
Do you think I ever?
The Road
do you
Warrior?
think I ever
He's the
talk
Road
about
Warrior.
Sven Otka? Hang on a minute. Do you think I ever talk about Sven Otka?
Undefeated, one of the
Like,
best
like,
boxers
like
of
he's
all
some
time.
special, great, all-time great. No, he was a fucking chump that hid in Germany and got gift decision after gift decision. Go and look. Yeah. Resumes don't mean it's who you fight. There's a saying in boxing: if you haven't got a defeat on your record, you're not fighting the right people. So that's where. And look at Sven Otka. I mean, that guy got. I mean, he got more decisions than Sturm, and that's an achievement in its own. So, look,
Yeah, he got more decisions than Sturm did in Germany. Yeah, 100% agree with that.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry again, bro.
Let me tell you guys what. My final thoughts on this matter. Triple G, he fought the best he could at the time because the people in his weight class, he never got an aging fighter that he could pick off with a big name. He didn't have that opportunity. A lot of these fighters,
I agree with that.
like the Anthony Joshua, he gets to fight a aging Klitschko who's on his way out, clinging to a thread. And he got that opportunity. Yeah. Same with Tyson Fury. He got that opportunity to fight an aging Klitschko. Nobody gave
I'm not having that.
DGG
I'm not
that
having
opportunity.
That. Klitschko was a reigning champion. Klitschko took his eye off the ball, got comfortable fighting these fucking chumps. And when he fought him with someone that brought something different to the table, he froze on the night. That's all it is. I'm not having this Klitschko was done because Klitschko was dealing with everyone in front of him. He still had a lot in him. You've got to see in the fight with Anthony Joshua, Klitschko still had all the talent in him still. It's just when he dug into the tank to get a bit extra to get the job done, there was nothing there. And that's why he retired, because when you've got a guy like Joshua hurt like that and you can't get him out of there and you let him recover, it took the guy about 4 rounds to recover as well. This is no Carl Froch we're talking about. It's time to call it a day, and that's why he did. Klitschko a couple of years ago was fucked,
man. Triple G could have went
it's
up
still
to
an open book.
168.
The book is still open. He's a champion, and are these guys
okay, one at a time.
He
Jesus Christ. All right, Brotherhood, go ahead, because he hasn't spoken in a while. Go ahead.
I was saying he could have went up to 168, which people try to pretend he's a small middleweight. He's not. He could have went up to 168 and took out agent James DeGale or agent George Groves. So don't try to say.
I totally agree. I totally agree. He'd spark both of them out. He'd have sparked both of them clean out. I totally agree. Why didn't he do that? Why was he wasting his time fighting these fucking?
No. They didn't want to fight him. They didn't want to fight him. They wouldn't have given him the opportunity to fight him. Not a chance. They would have given him that opportunity.
Gonzalo, go ahead.
How you know that?
Gonzalo.
He didn't try.
Hold on.
disagree because
one at a time.
I disagree.
Gonzalo.
Okay, I disagree because the book is still open. He's got a title, and where are Andrade, Charlo? Yes, Charlo. Where are these guys calling him out?
Going on about
where
that
are these
title
guys
like
lining up to fight Triple G?
Look, that title
wouldn't that be a great name for? Wouldn't that be a great name for Jamal Charlo on his resume?
Yeah,
a Triple G victory.
Absolutely.
Wouldn't that fucking elevate Jamal Charlo's career? Wouldn't that elevate Demetrius Andrade's career? He's 38. Fucking get that scalp on your record. Why not?
I totally agree with you. But you're talking about Golovkin because he's got that IBF belt that he's still got it, and he hasn't.
Well, for whatever reason,
it's a shitty belt.
Same Brit
because
Sports.
he's $1 million fighter.
Comment.
He fights for millions. He's got a lot of fans. Exciting style.
You got to read that comment by Same Brit.
He's only lost one time controversially.
I can't.
And if he's such a follow cherry pick, well, where are these guys trying to fight him?
Well, he fights for millions. I mean, he put you to sleep in a heartbeat. Golovkin's
one of the
done.
biggest names in boxing.
All right.
Golovkin's finished, mate. The problem with you Golovkin fans, you're going to fucking sleepwalk him into his own oblivion. You're going to put him in there with Canelo again, and he's going to get fucking wrecked.
He's finished, but what's
Stu, are you that concerned about
everybody else then?
Stu, are you that concerned about Golovkin and his health?
Listen, look. I don't like to see all-time greats carrying on like Holyfield. People like that. Look, Hopkins was a one-off. The only reason Hopkins could carry on because he was steroided up to the max, and he was just horrible. He just held and headbutted his way to 12 rounds. But No, but this is a different sort of guy that, he's not going to be able to do that. And Golovkin is getting hit with nearly every shot that's thrown at him. He's not getting out of the way
You
of
think
any of them.
Canelo's gonna fuck him up?
Derevchenko, I mean, he looked like fucking Lomachenko in there that night. Come on, man.
Yeah, but Stu,
Come
Golovkin
on.
has that chin, man. That super
What?
human chin. Come on.
Yeah, but fucking Boom Johnson had a chin. But they crack eventually. You only had to see him fucking sleeping on the ropes against Joshua. And look, chin, when you get to like 40, mid 40s, 50, the chin gives up on you. I don't care. It gives experience where you ride the shot, see him coming. They're the one, you'll get away with them ones. But one that you don't see coming and you can't get out of the way of is sleeping you.
He's got negatives, but he also got positives. Look, when is a slick fighter gonna buy power? When is a slick fighter always is gonna buy a chin? The guys that don't have a chin and don't have power can never get that because they weren't.
Yeah, but
born
you
with
say
it.
that though.
The guys
But
that
Junior,
are born with that, they will never lose that. They might lose the sharpness, which is a good tool to have, but he's still left with intangible.
look, like I said, chins are important in boxing. I agree, but just Junior Jones beat Barrera twice. Let that sink in for a minute. This guy had a terrible chin. You've got to be hit on the fucking chin to go to sleep. This is the problem. And Golovkin,
What I'm trying to say,
telegraphs his shots. I mean, I'm getting out of the way of Golovkin shots, and I'm a fucking guy that's smoking loads of weed sitting on the couch.
Someone's asking.
The guys that have the guys that are real. Look,
Yo,
Golovkin's a good boxer,
what's
but, like,
going
for
on,
example-
BDA?
Wait, Slugger Sam, just hold up.
Slugger
We're interrupt
Sam.
with some other type of talk. You're excited, you're entertaining, but let me just say something real fast, and then I promise I'll shut the fuck up. Look, the guys that have good boxing skills, and mind you, Golovkin has good boxing skills, but like let's say like a light puncher that moves around, when that guy loses, and a fast fighter that moves around, when that guy loses his speed, he has nothing left. When a Golovkin that's a good boxer loses his speed and his reflex, he does still have something left because he's still got the chin. The other guys can fall back on absolutely nothing, but at least Golovkin can fall back on the intangibles, the chin and the power.
Yeah, Golovkin's gonna fight till the wheels fall off. He's caught from a different cloth. Triple G is fought from a.
All right.
Shut up. Listen, Triple G's cut from a different cloth. He's not like Andre Ward is gonna retire in his prime when he's got more to give. He's gonna fight until he can't anymore. Until someone shows him that he can't be in there, that he doesn't belong in it.
Yeah, well, Canelo 3 will be that fight.
Yeah.
Put him in with Canelo. And all you Golovkin fans will be begging him to retire because that piecing up he's going to get is going to be hard to watch. It's going to be like watching Joe Pesci getting battered with baseball bats in Casino. It's going to be worse than that. I mean,
It might be sad. Yeah, that's true.
Hey, by the way,
Canelo's getting better. Canelo's getting better by the day. Golovkin's getting worse.
All right, somebody's asking Stu something. Monster A in the chat is asking Stu, could Triple G beat Murata, the Japanese fighter?
Fuck yeah.
Stu.
I mean, it's one of them where if he can't beat Murata, then fucking hang him up.
Okay, but
that's how I see it, man. If he can't beat Murata, then call it a day now before someone really hurts you. And that's where I am with that.
You really think he's that washed up, man? Come on.
Bro, listen, the guy is shot to pieces. He's shot to pieces. I tell you, the thing is that people think I'm getting at Golovkin. Golovkin's that good. Even when he's shot to pieces, he's good enough to beat most of these guys. That's what I'm trying to say.
Dude,
I'm not saying he's like
look at who
terrible
he's
fighter.
Derevchenko. Look at the talent level of someone like Derevchenko. People don't realize how good he is. You know, I think he would go in there and wash Callum Smith. I think he would wash Billy Joe Saunders. The level of talent someone like that has.
I don't know about
look at Daniel Jacobs. He struggled against him. Daniel Jacobs is an elite fighter. Who's when's the last time Daniel Jacobs been knocked out? Karagov? Ages ago?
No, it was actually that guy from it was an Eastern European guy, the guy that retired injured. What's his name again? Come on, boys, help me out.
Dmitry Progov or something like that.
Pogro. Was it Pogro? Pirog. So yeah, of course it was. Yeah, it's a long. Like, this guy hasn't fought for years. He was a world class fighter. He was. You know, Danny. The thing with Danny Jacobs, like I said, very dangerous guy. Danny Jacobs. I mean, when he starts throwing them shots in the pocket, if he lands one, you're going to sleep. Simple. But He's a tough guy, hard guy to beat, Danny Jacobs. Golovkin though for me just nicked it, and it was very close. And I was not impressed with Golovkin at all that night. I thought he was dreadful. I really did. Jacobs went in there with a surviving mode. I think that's why he didn't get the nod. If he'd gone in there and put the pressure on a little bit more, I think he'd have got the nod.
All right.
Yeah, but you can't be judge Triple G off his fights against these elites. These are the best in the world, no doubt
That's
about
how I
it.
judge fights, bro. I'm not going to sit there and judge a guy how world class he is when he's knocking out some fucking chump. I judge him by how they perform against world class fighters.
Well, do you consider Derevchenko a world class fighter?
Yeah, Derevchenko's going to give anyone a hard fight in the night. I'm not saying he's, but let's be real. Golovkin at his best steamrolls Derevchenko.
Fair enough.
I'm telling you
But
now.
he did compete in that fight, and he might have won. I mean, yeah.
His best win is Jack Koke. Who the fuck is that, man?
Are you on about Kokai?
Who'd he beat? He
Yeah,
beat Tareen.
that's the guy
Who's
that
the
fucking
Tareen
rocked.
dude? He was supposed to be the next big thing. Tareen Johnson or something. He was supposed to be a big prospect, and Sergey Derevchenko went out there and washed him.
Soriano Johnson. Stop.
Derevchenko's that guy where if you're not good enough to get to the top, he'll find you out very quickly. I think you've got to get through Derevchenko to get to the elite. That's how I see Derevchenko, because he troubles everybody.
Yeah,
I see Derevchenko as the
good
gatekeeper
fighter.
for the middleweight division.
I
For
think
the
he's
titles.
actually, he could be a great fighter.
Hey,
There's fighters
real
with
quick,
far
real
less.
quick. I gotta interrupt you real quick because Jack Koke didn't he go to a split decision with Demetrius Andrade? He went to a split decision.
He beat the brakes off. He beat the brakes off Andre. Go and watch the last few rounds of that. I thought fucking Demetrius Andre was Sammy Davis Jr. in there because he was doing the dance quite often. I mean, look, Cool Kai's not even a big puncher. If Golovkin lands on Andrade, well, you can. Go and buy the Lucasade and go and give him a visit in hospital because that's where he's going to be.
Tell him, Stu.
I mean, who the fuck is Andre too? He hasn't beat anybody.
Yeah, I knew
So what do
you were gonna say that. So basically, who's do
the
you have
real
any
G's
good
in
boxers
boxing?
in the middleweight division? Brother, who
Who's
do you
the
have any
what?
good
The real
boxers?
Slim Shady, please stand
There's a
up.
lot of unproven guys at middleweight. That's what I'm saying. But at the same man,
Hey,
put it
King
this way,
Bucho,
man. Triple
can
G-
I ask
Triple
Brotherhood
G
who
at
is
this
top 10
point-
for pound list?
No, don't do that,
Don't
please.
do that, please. Don't.
Oh, don't get it. I'm not doing that shit today.
Look, that middleweight
middleweight
division, you've got Canelo at the top, and the rest, they're all scrapping amongst themselves. Because I mean, even Charlo on his day is good enough to beat some of these guys. I mean, none of them are outstanding apart from Canelo. I mean, Golovkin now with Charlo. I mean, Charlo would give Golovkin a good fight now. A couple of years ago, he got slept.
Yeah.
So that middleweight division is. It's probably a bit poor for me. What do you think Canelo keeps moving up?
Yeah,
Legacy.
I agree. I do agree with that. It's not the greatest
This my
division
last
in the
statement
world.
on
but
Triple
even.
G, man. Triple G, basically a middleweight version of Brandon Rios at this point.
All right, get the
That's
fuck
what-
out of here, man.
Come
Get
on,
the fuck
man.
out of here. Come
I
on.
mean,
now
Brandon
this
Rios
gets-
could string a sentence together at 26 years old.
Yeah, this is insane.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not even gonna
comparing Golovkin to Brandon Rios
This is insane.
very harsh. I mean,
oh god, and then
Derek Chisora maybe to Brandon Rios. That's about
Brandon Rios.
Talking
Amazing.
about
even
insult.
Chisora don't get hit that much flush in the
Yeah,
face.
Brandon
Only
Rios, yeah, Olympic medalist.
Yeah, Brandon Rios made Alvarado look like Salvador Sanchez in there, didn't he? I mean, that's how good Brandon Rios is.
Brandon Rios.
But
Where's
you
your
know what? For a
soundboard,
fighter, it
Bucho?
gets hit so
We
much
need
as
the cuckoo
everybody says. I
soundboard.
have never really seen
Yeah.
a fighter.
Cuckoo.
Huh?
Where is it?
How many times have
Then
you
there's
seen Triple G get hit
soundboard.
and staggered?
He's got a granite chin. He's got a granite chin. I'll give him that.
So
But
fuck it.
that doesn't mean.
Fuck it.
But that doesn't mean he's not getting punched in the face. If he wants to thank the Lord that he's got a good chin. Because if he didn't have a good chin, he'd have got slept a couple of years ago.
He's still
Because he's
getting
taking
punched
big
in the
shots.
face, and he's
Look.
still punching back. And you got to
Yeah,
be
but
worried about
fucking
Triple
Rocky
G's
Balboa. Rocky Balboa had a good
with
chin.
Triple G.
Look, come on.
His
At the end of the
chin
day,
is okay,
it's going to
but
take more than a good
what
chin.
What he really got is a good
Chin and
poker
power.
face. He
Good
got a
combination.
poker
Chin and
face.
power.
So
Yeah.
when he gets hurt,
Excellent
he just
combination.
doesn't show it. But he gets hurt. Trust me.
Yeah, he
I'll
does.
trust you. We'll trust you.
The problem is with him now, right? because he's he's a top fighter. A lot of this times he's seeing these shots coming. The problem is he knows what to do, but his body can't react to it quick enough. So he's just getting tagged up with big shots. He's seeing them coming. That's what's not sleeping him. But one day he's going to go in there, especially against Canelo, where he ain't going to see these coming. If he can't see Derevchenko shots, forget Canelo. And he's going to go in there with Canelo, and he's going to get slept. I'm telling you that now.
If I had three wishes, and if I had the genie lamp, and I could ask for 3 boxing wishes, what I would like to have, I would pick chin and power, maybe speed.
Nah.
Legs.
But I would certainly
and
pick
slapping
chin
abilities.
and power.
Legs and slapping abilities. So I can just run and slap, and I'll get the decision.
Yeah, but it's all right having good legs, but if you can't throw a fucking punch, it's not going to.
I'll slap.
That's what I've always said in boxing. You've got to have a bit of pop behind your shots, because if you can't get the respect from your opponent, it's going to be a long night for you.
You clinch and you wait for the ref to separate you, and then you're on the back foot, out of range.
Yeah, but I've seen some of the best chins. I've seen some of the best chins I've ever seen in the boxing ring get cracked.
You just have to stay out of range and get the
Wally
referees.
Malignaggi, 2-time world champion, pillow fist.
Hey guys, I just want to say to everybody in the chat that we are now on Spotify, so you can check the show on Spotify. Just type in BDA Boxing and you'll find the show. All right.
Look, I mean, Vladimir Klitschko. When you talk about chins, when you talk about chins, like, look at Vladimir Klitschko's chin. Dreadful. But the thing is, you've got to land on it, and Klitschko got a style where it was just really hard to land. He used his long arms. He used to hold them up. He used to block a lot of his shots with his big fucking chunky bicep sort of thing. He was a very hard man to hit clean, because I remember when everyone thought David Haye would spark Klitschko in a couple of rounds. I said David Haye will get. David Haye will get fucking steamrolled in that fight, and everyone's going, "You don't know what you're talking about." David Haye was dreadful.
He destroyed
Klitschko's.
John Ruiz.
You can have all the power in the world, but you've got to land it, and it gets very disheartening when you start throwing all these shots and nothing's landing, and that's what
Guys,
David Haye's problem.
Mr. E, thank you for your contribution.
He's talking about a guy who talked his way into a fight.
Well, I just want to say something because I need to read the super chat. Mr. E, thank you for your contribution. He says, pound for pound, most entertaining boxer in the last 10 years. Absolutely. You got to give him that. Go ahead, Brian.
That's what I'm saying. If you talk about a guy who talked his way into a certain fight, it is David Haye. You know?
Oh,
and
yeah.
then what's the first thing he freaking did after the fucking fight? Oh, the sore toe.
Oh, that was embarrassing. Pathetic.
That was pathetic. Jesus Christ.
The problem with Klitschko, whenever Klitschko's in a fight, people always thought, when he fought a puncher, people always backed against him. Oh, Klitschko gets tagged, he's going to sleep. But that's the truth. But you've got to hit the guy, and the guy is so crafty, that Emmanuel Stewart side. Same with Lennox Lewis. Lennox didn't have the greatest chin in the world. Good luck trying to land one clean. And, that's
can I just say something?
Can I just have a question? He uses range very well.
We have too many people, but I just have a question for Brotherhood. Brotherhood, do you think that Golovkin was an exciting boxer? Like, did you tune into his fights? Did you watch his fights, or you just didn't care?
Nah, he hella exciting. He got that down. He basically a middleweight Provodnikov. I'll take the Brandon Rio shit.
Oh, come on, man. Come on, man. That's, he's a lot better than Provodnikov.
That is disrespectful.
He ain't.
Hey guys, when I end the show, all right, it's been like 2 hours and a half.
Carry on, Butch, man.
Gotta go, man.
Let me host. You leave it on, and I'll host.
Pour me
sure?
a drink, Stu.
All right. But like, Brotherhood, you're gonna get cut off, man, because the phone lines are closed now. So if you wanna join, just click the StreamYard link.
Yeah, give him the StreamYard. You can join, man.
All right. Let me just shut this down.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Shut up. All right, Stu, take it away then. I gotta eat. I haven't eaten.
Me too.
I'll inbox you when I've had enough. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Yeah. Who's the Irish guy in the chat we've got? I don't know this guy. Who's that?
Brian Harkin.
It's Billy.
My name is Brian Stu.
I'll let you fucking decide the topic, and we'll crack on from there.
Okay. Well, what topic? We've already talked about the Charlo Derevchenko. What do you think about Scudamore saying about Dillian White getting his mandatory if he beats Paveskin? He said
Yeah,
that today.
Dillian White. Dillian White's the sort of guy that is. I mean, I think the WBC are just they keep putting him in with big punches and open one lands and gets him out of the way. They don't want this guy to be the champ.
Yeah,
they can't do. I mean, the way they've treated Dillian White, man, disgraceful.
Yeah, the way they treated him over the last 3 years. You know,
this is what I'm saying. They protected Wilder. How did Bermain Stavern get a second shot at Wilder? Just explain to me that. How did Dominic Brazil even be in the conversation? I mean, the fucking guy's a robot.
Yeah.
How you doing today,
idea.
BDA? How you doing today, BDA? How you doing today?
All right, guys, we have Brotherhood and Ronald. So, guys, go ahead.
BDA, see, I don't understand the perspective that you come from when you say, like, Ortiz, how did he get a second fight? I like how UK...
I didn't say that. I said Stavern. Sorry, my name's Stuart, by the way. It's not BDA, but I said Stavern, not Ortiz.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Ortiz. Okay, let me shut up.
Can you give me a good reason? Can you give me a good reason?
You still got a point. Stavern was supposed to fight Povetkin, and Povetkin popped dirty. That was an eliminator fight. So guess
no, he didn't pop dirty. Go read it again. He didn't pop dirty. He actually won in court. He actually won the court case. So go and read it. It's there on paper. It's written down.
He might have won the court case, but that was for the first time he popped dirty. The second time around, I don't know what the explanation for that was when he was about to fight Stavern.
Who was that, Brotherhood? Who was about to fight Stavern?
Povetkin, and Stavern was ordered to fight in an eliminator to get the winner got Wilder. Povetkin popped dirty again, and then Stavern got granted the mandatory.
See, that's why I listen to Brotherhood, because, like, you know, I didn't follow, like, Stavern, like, who ducks Stavern. So I get that part because he know more about that.
Yeah, but there's nothing to follow. Nobody in this universe has ducked Stavern. Nobody.
Yeah. Nobody.
Well, I mean, nobody ducked them.
Who in their right mind is going to say Bermain Stavern? I don't fancy any of that. I mean, look at the guy. He's come on, man.
Why would you juice?
I mean, that guy had no. Look at the shape he was in when he fought Wilder in the second fight. I thought he was fucking Barry White in there.
And then we beat over the top. We beat him like
The only thing that's impressed me about Bermain Stavern is his ragu sauce. It looked quite nice. That's about it. The guy is absolutely useless. Look how he just fucking. It was like Dominic Brazil again. Dominic Brazil talked a good game, didn't he? I thought Dominic Brazil was coming with a killer instinct. He went in there, strolled forward with his chin in the air, and slept the minute he got tagged. I mean, it's just embarrassing. Come on, man. How are these guys getting a shot ahead of Dillian White? Just explain to me that, and I'll come off the phone.
Dillian White turned down an eliminator with Brazil, so he got the shot.
Dillian White turned down Dominic Brazil. I doubt that. I mean, I'd fight Dominic Brazil. Never mind Dillian White.
He did for a pay-per-view. He did for a pay-per-view against Derek Chisora, I think it was.
I know which fight I'd rather. Derek Chisora and Peace Brazil.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, he's a harder fight.
Man, Chisora pieced White up. What are you talking about?
He did.
Chisora. Well, last time I saw it, I mean, if I remember right, Chisora was sleeping on the canvas. But what do I know?
Yeah, but it was a rematch for a reason.
Yeah, listen, Chisora's a handful for anyone, mate. You got to have good power to get Chisora out there because he's just going to swarm you and make it a horrible night for you. Vitaly Klitschko, he gave Vitaly all sorts of problems. He's a horrible guy to fight. You've got to have knockout David Haye. Look at the shot David Haye caught with, and David Haye was under pressure at the time and starting to get his ass whooped and blowing. He landed the shot from the gods, and it's the same with Dillian White. Dillian White was down on the cards, getting pieced up, and he landed the shot from the gods. Derek Chisora, not Derek Chisora.
By Tackham. He got schooled by Yale. Like, come on, man. Chisora ain't all that.
Chisora's not all that, but on his day, he's a handful for anyone. I mean, this guy, he's better than Dominic Brazil. Let's just put that.
No,
he's better than Brazil.
Here, put it like this, Brotherhood. Chisora has never ducked anybody.
Yep, I believe that.
Chisora fights everybody.
Yeah,
if you're willing to fight on these,
It's always for David Haye, Klitschko, Vitali. That is, by the way.
Yeah.
Tyson Fury twice. You know, the guy just doesn't duck. He fights anyone. Dillian White. I mean,
he fights
all right.
everybody
When
and
you look at
everybody.
his, all right. He's not winning these
Chisora
fights, but
is a
still,
fighter,
he's giving.
right? No matter what you say about Derek Chisora, that guy's willing to step in the ring with anybody. He never says no. He never says no. He goes, all right, send me the contract. I'll sign.
See, the thing about the UK boxers, though, Brian Hawkins, is that, like, we know that they fight each other all the time over there, and their promotion must allow them to fight all the time over there. But I just want to see them mix it up over here. And that's why I think we as Americans get so mad at those fighters over there, is because we don't see them, like, in even matchups. Like,
let me explain that, right? And I'm going to explain right. They know if they're coming to America, they know they're not going to get a fair shake on the judges. They know if it goes to points, right? They may get screwed by judges, right? If they come to America, just like if an American fighter comes to the UK, and it goes to the judges. That's the same thing. American fighters don't come to the UK to fight.
Then there's plenty of American fighters that go over there, though, man.
Yeah, and there's plenty of British fighters who's gone over to America.
I'm going to stick up for my American cousins. Listen,
the one I can think
I
of
think
is,
listen, when you're dealing with a Heyman fighter, you're going to struggle to win on the cards. But as an American fighter, I've seen a few European guys go over there and get decisions that have been quite close. So, you know, like Frampton getting the decision against Leo Santa Cruz, and Fury getting the draw for a start. I mean, let's be real, we all thought Fury won, but even to get a draw was an achievement. So I don't think the Americans is bad with the judges, as we say. I mean, I'd say the UK is probably worse, because when Eddie Hearn starts whispering in these judges' ears, they see a fight that no one else sees.
Yeah. I think also too, if you look at what happened with Hatton and Mayweather, like Joe Cortez that night was abysmal. That's why a lot of UK fighters don't go over to, you know, even though Mayweather was the A side and the A fighter.
Yeah, but that Cortez refereeing was probably the worst refereeing I've seen. Yeah, but that Cortez refereeing against Hatton Mayweather was probably the worst refereeing I've seen since Emil Griffiths killed that guy in the ring. I mean, it was just dreadful referee. I mean, Cortez, it reminded me a bit like, you know, how Wilder was trying to get saved by what's his name again? Fucking come on, help me out.
Kenny Bayless.
Kenny Bayless. I mean, Kenny Bayless was doing everything in his power to help Wilder. Yeah, but the thing is, like I said, I've always said before, corruption, judges, referees, they're out of the equation when you get the stoppage. And that's what you got to do. When you go to America, you've got to go and go for the stoppage, like Lloyd Hunnigan did against Don Curry. You've got to go out there. You can't just go out there and expect to shot your way to a point.
BDA. To be fair though, like, I think it's because we just expect for fighters to fight legally. Like the head behind the head stuff don't work over here.
No.
Like certain things don't work over here. Like, you know, I just feel like that's the reason why you feel like Kenny Bayless might be biased towards Wilder. You know, he fights straight up.
Kenny Bayless is one of the most corrupt pieces of shit in the sport of boxing.
I agree with the UK guys on this one. Tony Weeks and Kenny Bayless ain't shit.
Well, I like Tony Weeks. I don't think Tony Weeks is the worst. But Bayless, Joe Cortez.
Kenny Bayless, if he was judging the night of Lacey Calzaghe, he'd have had Lacey on points that night. That's how corrupt. That's how corrupt Kenny Bayless is. I mean, he's absolutely dreadful. Let's be real. I mean, he actually nearly got Wilder fucking killed that night, because most refs would have stopped it before then. But like, he even took a point off. You. I mean, Kenny Bayless is.
That was just to give.
I think Cortez was another one. He was on the Mayweather payroll, and that's why I'll never have respect for Cortez. I mean, for me, the best referee ever was Mills Lane, but people had their problems with him.
The best referees are the ones that you don't see as much.
Agreed. I love Mills Lane.
But I think Mills Lane's probably the best.
Hey, you know my favorite referee? You know that Frank
Cappuccino there, he used to let the guys go. He used to stop fights.
He was like, just fight.
Is that the guy that's got a father? Which is the father-son duel? There's been a couple, right?
he just died last year. He was the one who did Mickey Ward. Gotti won.
Yeah,
they asked him how come he didn't stop it.
Is that the father-son duel?
I don't think he has a son.
That referee in the Wilder Fury first fight, a lot of people criticised. I thought that was tremendous refereeing, because that's what boxing should be about. You should let the champion get off the canvas, give him his count, and see how it goes from there. Right? Just a lot of these referees, like Howard Foster, as soon as someone sort of does a little jiggle, he's sitting there fucking star jumping the fight off. In it, come on, man. I hate refs like that. I think these guys deserve the amount of training they do, the fucking dieting they deserve to be going out on their shield. And to be fair to Wilder, he wanted to go out on his shield, but let's be real, it was a matter of time before he did, because he was on his way out.
Wait, you lost me there? You lost me there. You saying it's okay for the ref to do a 10 count when the guy's laid out unconscious for half the fucking time, but you telling me Wilder was on his way to a stretcher? He was about to have a death sentence when he was standing up defending himself when Fury was unloading his last combo on him. Like, come on, man.
He was getting pissed up.
It wasn't that bad. It wasn't bad as people try to act like, man. Y'all act like
one of the American commentators knocked it on the head when he was saying, I think it was Andre Ward actually. He was saying it was a good stoppage because Fury was actually starting to time his shots and start to land with proper clean shots.
Yeah.
And all through the fight, he was landing on Wilder, but none of them were like clean. And because I keep saying Wilder, he's horrible to watch defensively, but he's hard to hit clean. He is. He's just awkward and long and rangy. So he's very hard to. And Fury was struggling to hit him clean. But at that time when he got stopped, you saw when he sort of like feinted the double jab and flew in with the right hand. He was landing big shots then. And I think Fury was starting to get his timing right. And I think
Wilder wasn't right after the fourth round. Absolutely wasn't right. He wasn't moving right.
It was actually the second round, bro.
Yeah, second round. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Second round.
He was staggering.
It actually could be perceived. It could be perceived that he was more worse for wear than he really was, because supposedly he had a busted eardrum and he was bleeding from the ear, but it was really a cut. I mean, but yeah, he was starting to time his shots. Fury was.
Wilder had the same problem as David Hayes. This is the problem when your body's not prepared for that sort of weight gain. Your legs go underneath you. That's why David Hay keeps getting knee injuries and leg injuries, because look how top heavy he is. He's a cruiserweight, for fuck's sake. Deontay Wilder's actually better when he's actually lighter and explosive, but he put on 20 pounds of muscle, which is a fucking lot of weight, by the way.
Yeah, he put on more weight.
It was the worst thing he could have done. It slowed him down. His timing was off. His tank emptied quick, and I think that was down to. And look at the nervous energy he burned during the build-up. I mean, the guy was sitting there cuddling his missus and strolling around. He looked really nervous. Then he puts that fucking gimp suit on, and the rest is history. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. All I gotta tell you is whoever conditioned Fury for that second fight, they hats off to them, because I've never seen a man that big move that well in the ring and lean on somebody like that.
I have. Big Baby Miller.
You said Baby Miller moves like Tyson Fury. I mean, what fucking universe are you in?
Well, if you look at basketball players, Magic Johnson is like 6'9". How excellent!
You say you don't like pop fighters.
Yeah, Baby Miller's just got good work rate, and you know why? Because he's fucking roided up to the gills. That's the only reason why.
Right.
Look,
there's no way of us knowing that for sure. There's no way of us knowing that.
Gonzalo, are you serious now?
That guy's a walking
what did you think? What did you think that I said? Did you understand what I said?
I thought you just said there's no proof that Baby Miller's cheated.
There's no proof that Baby Miller, without the pits, has got good stamina. We only think he's got good stamina.
Yeah, exactly. That was my point, bro. Yeah, that's my point, bro.
That's what I was trying to say as well.
Yeah, I mean, a guy with Baby Miller with that sort of size, I mean, them peds, they're helping him big time, because basically it's all about work rate with Baby Miller. He hasn't got massive punching power. He's not technically sound. It's just all about work rate and overpowering his opponents. And that's steroids that's helping him do that.
He throws all arm punches. He never bends at the waist.
That Nandrolone wasn't helping Fury at all? The boar meat?
Maybe so. No, maybe so. Listen, bro. I'm not. Maybe so. Maybe so. I don't know the ins and outs of
That's
that
a good
one. But
question right there.
Look, yeah, but look, are you telling me Wilder's not on Peds? Come on, man. Are you telling me Wilder's not on Peds? Come on now, tell me.
Man, well, the biggest thing with the Wild
metabolism, bro. He's not on no pads. He just built like that, bro. Certain people are built like that.
Hey, do you know how hard it is? Hey, do you know how hard it is to put 20 pounds of muscle on? Do you know how hard that is? Go and ask Roy Jones how hard
his aunt cooking for him. His aunt was cooking him that soul food. You see, she was cooking for him. She was making them yams, all that good stuff.
I eat all that fucking Caribbean food. It's good for you. Look, it's not going to put you 20 pounds of muscle on. Whatever it's soul food, fucking curry goat, whatever it's patties, whatever you want to eat, it's not going to put you 20 pounds of muscle on. Steroids do that.
He should have. He should put 20 pounds weight on his legs. His legs are so freaking skinny, though. His legs do not suit his frame at all.
Look, that's his problem. I mean, the legs will just give way on him. And, as soon as you start leaning on him, and putting the pressure on him.
In Wilder's defense, my son is the same build as Wilder. I'm the same build as Wilder. I got legs. Mine's are bigger than Wilder's. But what I'm saying is,
I hope so, man. I was going to say you need to do some leg work.
Just like that.
Look, them legs. No, but them legs are going to be a hindrance in the long run. Go and ask Tommy Hearns. Tommy Hearns, one of the great fighters of all time, a monster. But every time he got fucking tagged with a good shot, his legs give underneath him. Go and look at his legs. I mean, legs. You can't have legs like that.
Tommy Hearns
grind out a result.
Agreed on it. I agree with that. You're right. Especially as a boxer, you gotta have at least calf muscles and
that's what got Nassim Hamid out of trouble. Nassim used to run into big shots, and the only reason he didn't get slept. Look at the calves on him, man.
Pacquiao's got big calves too.
That's what's keeping Pacquiao awake. Let's be real.
That's not a good example. Pacquiao been knocked out like 4 times.
Hey, Stu.
But it was a good fight, brother. You can't knock Pacquiao for getting knocked out, though.
When you fight 70,
when you have 70 fights, mate, you're gonna get knocked out. Especially when you fight.
only been knocked out one time. He got knocked out to the body. Two times when he was young, but he's only been knocked out with the shot to the chin one time.
Yeah, you're right.
And to be fair, that shot that Marquez landed on Pacquiao. That shot Marquez landed on Pacquiao would have knocked out a fucking heavyweight, man.
Yeah, that
when you don't see a shot like that.
Yeah,
when you don't see it, it's
BDA. Thanks for having me on. I'm gonna go back and chat, sir. Appreciate you for having me on the panel.
Yeah, no problem. Are you going now then? Are you?
Well, yeah, I'm gonna go back in the chat. I'm looking forward to these fights on PBC this weekend. I think we got a lot of good matchups, and I think y'all gonna like it over there. Man.
Hey, look, people think I hate the PBC. I don't. I'm all for what the PBC are doing with that card. I think that card that the Charlo card, I really like it. So I just want to see the pay-per-view.
If it's a good fight, I'll watch it. Put it like
Derevchenko, Charlo, and then the Charlo fight.
Tune in Saturday. Tune in tomorrow night, guys. Y'all gonna like that.
Definitely.
Who do you have in that, Stu? Have you in the first one with 154 Dennison? I mean, he's fighting the Puerto Rican kid. I believe he's Puerto Rican. He's Dominican.
Can you name the fight for me, bro? I don't know what fight you're talking about.
Charlo, the first of the two fights.
What about Jamal Charlo? Jamal Charlo,
yeah, the 154. He's fighting the kid, the Spanish kid with heavy hands.
Rosario, bro.
Yeah, I mean, that's a 50-50 fight for me. It really is.
No, that's the fight of the night, I think.
Yeah,
that has the potential of the fight.
I've been said on. I think it was on Rival Boxing Talks and Speak Your Mind Sports saying I think that fight will steal the show.
Yeah, me too. I think that's the show.
I mean, what's his name? Is it Rosario?
Rosario from
Rosario. Yeah, I mean, I've seen Rosario fight twice, and he's impressed me every time I've watched him. And he's going to come to fight. And the thing with Jamal gets in lulls where he's getting outworked. at times. I mean,
he's not the kid. He's not the kid you're going to want to let take pot shots on you. That's for sure.
The thing with Jamal, like I said, with Jamal, he gets outworked. I mean, he's just not busy enough for me. He's landing probably the cleanest shots, but this Rosario
kid is just as big, right?
Well, he's going to be but he's going to be busy, and he's technically quite sound. This Rosario, I've watched him. He's going to be a problem for Jamal. I think Jamal might actually struggle to get the nod in that one. You know what I mean? If it goes to points, maybe he will do. But I don't know, man. I'm fancying Rosario in that one, where I think Jamal's probably got a better chance than Jamel in that one, even though he's fighting Derek.
Aren't they both the same height? This would be the first time Jamal fights like another big dude, like somebody built like him. This kid's pretty big.
I think Jamal's better than
Not
Jamal.
at all.
I do.
Tony Harrison was a big ass 154 pound.
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah, but I think Jamal's got a bit more back. I think he's a little bit more spiteful than Jamal. I prefer him, to be honest with you, and I think if there's going to be a knockout, I'll be picking Jamal to knock Derevchenko out. I think this Rosario kid is going to be a problem for Jamal. I really
he's
do.
a good boxer. He's a good mover, and
Yeah.
Right
now, that's how I have it. I have him winning the first. I have him winning, and I haven't really saw any tape on what they look like. I usually like to make my official right after the weigh-in. I like to see them on the scale with their shirt off. But listen on that. I just want to say,
Jimmy, with that division, they're so interchangeable.
Right.
Yeah, because all of a sudden, J-Rock's a fucking legend of the ring. I mean, come on, man, calm down about this. You know, this division's what? Yeah, well, this division. What? Look at Munguia. I mean, the guy blocks punches with his face. I don't think that division's too strong. I think.
Yeah, you don't think J-Rock?
J-Rock put out an unbelievable performance against.
it was a good one. It was a very good one, but.
Yeah, that was a good fight. I mean, J-Rock, that was his best. That was going to be probably the highlight of his career. That was a great fight.
Yeah, J-Rock's a good fighter. The thing is, though, once one of these world-class operators land on the button, you know what happens.
I think he has an awesome trainer. I think Edwards is a great trainer.
Betty
ran through Laura. He ran through fucking Tony Harrison. He ran through
Laura.
Austin Trout. He knocked Trout out for the first time. Like, come on, that was
see Lara, right? If he's saying he's like 35 years old on his form, he's probably 45. That's the problem.
Come on, man. I know he Cuban, but Laura don't look that old, to be honest.
Yeah, but let's be real. Black don't really crack. I mean, I've got fucking black friends that look a fucking $1 million and they're in the 40s, mate. Do you know what I mean? So that don't mean anything. It don't look Rigondeaux. I mean, he looks like he's about 170. That guy. So. It's just, you can't just look at face and say, well, he's not. Do you believe that Luis Ortiz is 37?
Yeah,
I can't believe that. That guy's not younger than me.
Look, this is my argument.
Nah.
His hairline haven't receded yet.
Huh?
He still got his hairline, man.
Yeah, but fucking, I've still got my hairline. I'm in my fucking mid-40s. What does that mean? Nothing.
Come on, I ain't talking about your Beijing, man. I ain't talking about no fake.
Yeah, but look, come on, man, look. If you think Luis Ortiz is 37, then you need to go get your eyes checked out. Because guy, he's walking around looking like Morgan Freeman, for fuck's sake.
In the Cuban community in Miami swears, like, put their hand to God, he's 47. I mean, that's around the Mexican. I had a Cuban who rented off me, man. Him and his girl moved before Christmas, but he's obviously very tight with down there in Miami. And he said straight up, he said it's laughable. Everybody knows he's 47 because his wife and the whole community.
Yeah, I'd say Luis Ortiz is around 46, 47. I would. Like I said, I mean,
the United States and are seeking to get permanent papers, especially if you're an athlete. And you want to be, like, for example, promotable, you got to put in an age that's going to be...
it makes sense. Listen, if I'm going to fucking go to America from Cuba and try making money out of a career, I'm not going to say, by the way, I'm 38 years old. Can you do anything with me?
Well,
come on, man.
What it was, he was fighting in the Golden Gloves at 16, right? The same thing in Cuba. They have it, like, Silver Mittens goes to 16, and then they have their Golden Gloves. I don't know what they call it, but it's the Open Tournament. And he was fighting in that. I forget the year, but if you did the math... You got to be at least 16. This was like 86 or 85. I'm like, okay, there's no way he's fucking
Rigondeaux was at the Rigondeaux was fighting in the Munich Olympics when Hitler was in charge. Come on, go fucking hold on.
Yeah, I honestly heard Ortiz went to school with George
When you were
Foreman.
born
I don't
and
know how
like the
true that is, but
documentation is not like up to par, like they can't really track your registered or not.
Well, they don't even birth
When a
certificate. There's no
when
way.
a Cuban says he's an age, put 10 years on it and you'll be close. That's just where I am, mate.
Well, what about the Taiwanese baseball team in Little League, man? All those kids are 18, 19 playing 12-year-olds.
Have you seen them Cuban baseball players, man?
Oh, yeah, no, they're good, dude. Cubans are good ball
They're
players.
they're like pit bulls, aren't they? They're fucking roided up to, they're like pit bulls. But look at you telling me they look a fucking $1 million? No, they don't. They look old. Look, when you're on steroids, you can compete
maybe
at high
Ortiz
levels.
is 42.
Go and ask Lance Armstrong. I mean, he'll tell you when you're on steroids, you can compete at the best to your late 30s and 40s. But do you think Hopkins would have gone on and done what he did at that age if he weren't on roids? Just answer the question, Jim.
Me?
Yeah, that's a hard one.
Do you think Hopkins would have gone on to achieve what he did till 50 years old, fighting these guys and living with them at the top level if he weren't on roids? Because I don't think he would.
It would be almost astonishing if it was clean. You know what I mean? It would almost be the only thing in his argument they could say is he had a late start because of prison. He got out, in his late 30s, did the accumulation. But I understand what you're saying. He didn't seem to lose any fast twitch in his early 40s, which is odd for clean, right? You know what I'm saying? So
Steroids only work. Steroids only work when you've got a naturally tough guy from the streets that can fight. Like Hopkins could. Say what you like about Hopkins. The guy could fight. Steroids. I know guys that have taken steroids are probably 18, 19 stone. Pure muscle. If I stuck one on their chin, they'd be in a coma for 6 months. It doesn't. Steroids don't make you fight. But if you can fight and you take steroids, that's when we're talking.
The reason I respect Hopkins is because he got stabbed 2 times in the lungs. He was kind of like a street guy, a thug.
Yeah, but Hopkins
got out and decided. Well, let me just finish and he decided to live a clean, squeaky life, like as far as like not sleeping late, not partying, not drinking like soda and none of that. So for those reasons, I think he might be clean.
Yeah, but no,
that
come
helped
on.
him prolong his career.
Yeah, come on, mate. If you think Bernard Hopkins is clean, then you've never seen a steroid user in your life. And that's just where we are. I mean, look, come on, man. Look, but Bernard, right? Bernard is as tough as it gets. I mean, look, Kovalev was hitting Bernard. Kovalev at the time, probably the prime of his career, was hitting Bernard with some monster shots. And Bernard was still hanging around. All right, he was getting pieced up. He didn't know where he was, but he was still there. That's a tough guy. And then you stick steroids in him, and then with that craftiness that he's learned and that horrible style he's got, difficult man for anyone. So steroids help certain fighters. If you stuck steroids in Malignaggi, he's not going to knock you out anytime soon. You've got to have certain attributes where the steroids kicks in, like Mike Tyson.
Yeah,
I mean, you get pit bull like Tyson. Put roids in him. You've got a monster.
See, that's when it comes to boxing, steroids. The only benefit out of steroids is recovery. You're going to get, very, very minute, like actual speed in your punches. But what it is recovery, where your other guy's sitting there using every bit of that fucking 1 minute. Your body just recovers so much faster when you're on steroids.
Look how Aaron Pryor recovered against Aguero. You know what I mean? I mean, this guy was out on his feet. He has a drink of water, and all of a sudden he's fucking Bruce Banner.
Yeah, it's like if you're in pain, you take Vicodin for it. The instant recovery. If you, I knew a guy who was in a car accident years ago, and he didn't lose his leg, but he couldn't walk on the one leg, and every time he was in pain, he took Vicodin, and after that, you wouldn't think there was nothing wrong with him, because he always got pains in his legs, and every time he just popped the Vicodin, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, but the thing is, like I said, with the steroids, I think Sylvester Stallone sort of like he gave us like an idea how it was when he did Rocky IV, when you saw Drago injecting them needles and fucking doing all that. But that's how it was around back then. And these steroids Jimmy will tell you, these were strong steroids.
They were at least they weren't fake. Put it that way.
Look, I always believe it's the steroids that made Tyson the lunatic he turned out to be, where he was always trying to perv around women and aggressive around everyone. That's steroids. That's roid rage. That's testosterone. That's doing that to him. Well, this guy was being injected with steroids. No, Tyson was being injected with steroids from the age of 15, right? And he was an experiment. He was a lab experiment. And everyone, Gustamato, what a guy. No, he wasn't. He put a fucking poor guy off the street and fucking roided him up like some fucking bull, you know. And that, but
now, Stu, listen. Hey, I want because I went and saw him live. Right, I saw him at his show. He does. Mike Tyson does that show. And listen, talk about self-deprivation. He doesn't hold nothing back in that show when he talks about his personal life. He went into detail about, being molested. He talks about embarrassing things with his wife. My only thing is this: my whole life too, and again, I saw him when he was 16 years old, and his back of his neck. When I first saw him, he was in there, and he was fucking crying, and Kevin Rooney was yelling.
He had a 21. He had a 21-inch neck.
Yeah, it was crazy, dude.
At 20 years old.
Yeah, he was tearing apart. He tore the lock apart. He tore the fucking the thing he was sitting on was bolted, 4 bolts into the floor, and by himself he tore that thing right up out of the floor. That's how much.
And that's why Tyson. When you look at Tyson, you evaluate Tyson. Tyson's a fucking lovely guy, man. He's got a heart of gold. He'll give you the last fucking dollar in his pocket. And the reason he become this monster is because he was getting injected with these steroids and then being brainwashed by these devils around him, like the fucking Muslim, the Muslims, when they were fucking, or Don King and people like that, always had the wrong people around him, and they got him angry. They started winding him up. He was and he'd become a monster. When you look at Tyson now, he even said to me, he goes, he hates seeing pictures of himself as a youngster, and I know why he hates seeing it, because he knows he cheated, and Tyson feels bad about it, because that's what it is. I'm telling you now, that's why he can't look at pictures of himself when he was in his prime, because he knows he was cheating. And I believe Tyson is the sort of guy where he's got a heart of gold. Do you know what I mean? But he's easily led.
Yeah, I was just my thing is my thing. I just want to say one thing about that too. I always thought he had him on something because of his neck and shit. But then when I saw them, when he was in that live, and somebody asked at the end of the show, he was taking questions, and somebody asked, when you were young, and did they take? And he said no, like emphatically, no, I never took nothing. Now I'm just saying what he said. Now my thing is, normally I would take anything like somebody says something, but just in the last hour. He was talking about his molestation. He was going into deep things that he didn't hold back nothing. So it's my thing is this. That must now think about the level of shame. Say you're right, Stu, right? I'm not saying you're wrong because I don't know. You know what I mean? I wasn't there. I have no way of saying. Think about the level of shame he must hold that at when he will talk about getting ass raped and diddled.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
but not talk about steroids. So imagine that, dude. Imagine if he did do him, how fucking bad he must. Because think about it, he opened his world up, and he showed this is me, everything that happened from the time I was like to his professional career, from what he can remember. And he actually said, to your point, Stu, I like when people talk to me. Like if you ever meet him in person, you talk to him about, oh, dude, I remember this fight that night, and he'll sit and listen because he said, I don't remember. It went by so fast. So many people pulling at me, I don't remember any of it.
Yeah, but the reason Tyson loved Gus D'Amato so much because Gus D'Amato was the only guy that actually sat down and gave Mike 2 minutes of his day and listened and sort of showed. All Mike wanted, right? I know it sounds a bit corny and all Mike wanted as a kid was to be fucking loved because he never had it, right? He had a heart of gold. I mean, there's a story. I was reading a story about Mike where one of his friends from school, he said he saw Mike one time. Mike was driving around New York, and he saw Mike, and Mike stopped, said, "Get in the car, man. We'll go for a drive." And because he was an old school friend of Mike's, and he thought, "I'm with the heavyweight champ, Mike Tyson here." Now, do you know what I mean? Like, and Mike, he drives to this fucking garage where all these flash posh cars are, and he's sitting there, and he goes to his friend, "Which one do you like?" And he's picking out Porsches and the guy goes, "I like the fucking Porsche." He goes, "That's wicked." It was a 911 Turbo, right? So Mike said, "Yeah, I'll have the Porsche 911." So he gives his car, pays for it. hands the keys over to this fucking guy and said, "That's yours. That's a gift from me." Mate, he's like, "I can't take this, mate." He's like, "Have it." Mike Tyson had not seen this guy since school, picked him up on the street and bought him a Porsche. That's why Mike Tyson doesn't have any money left. The guy had a fucking heart of gold, but he's the sort of guy that people knew how to push his buttons, give him a few steroids.
Donkey was charging him $8,000 a month for towels.
Don King was charging him $1,000 fucking dollars a towel or something like that. I mean, the thing with Mike, right? That's why that Robin Gibbons. I mean, Robin Gibbons is.
Yeah.
I mean, what a fucking heathen of a woman she is. I mean, look, she knew what
she destroyed his spirit. At that time, she just.
Yeah, I honestly believe Mike was set up. I believe Mike was set up. The heavyweight champion of the world, Mike Tyson. Any pussy he wants. What does he want? Some fucking little ghetto fucking hood rat at 16 and then rape her when he could just make a phone call and he's got pussy. Come on, mate. He was set up. He was set up, mate.
Yeah, I think so.
And Mike's too stupid to fucking.
Yeah, I just
rape is about domination, not sex.
No, but
I think you told me at that class.
You saw it, but the way he was talking to female reporters and stuff, you saw it. That's the steroids that's doing that. That's making him like a fucking dog on heat. Do you know what I mean? And then making him aggressive and wanting to fucking eat Lennox Lewis's kids and stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Everyone was saying, "You're great. You're this. You're that. You can do anything you want, Mike." And nobody's going to do nothing to you. This, I think also with steroids, but it might have been ego as well. I just think he was in that place where he just felt invincible.
No, but look, Brian, do you actually believe though that Tyson, that young Tyson, that kid that went on to knock out Larry Holmes and Spinks and Burbick and all that, do you think that kid there was not on steroids?
No, I believe he was on roids. But also, I also think at that time too, he was on the rise. But I think it was ego. I think he had everyone around him saying, "You're great."
Hey, look, mate.
You can do anything.
It don't matter who you are. When everyone's blowing your fucking trumpet, you start to believe it. That's what Joshua's problem with. Joshua thought he could just turn up in the States, rap a few lyrics on the radio, get his 6-pack out, and he's going to, the job's done. Don't work like that, mate. And that's when you start believing your own hype. That's why you've always got to have the right people around you. Manuel Stewart, for me, the best trainer ever. Because why? Yeah. Just look what he did with Klitschko and Lewis, 2 guys that had vulnerabilities and dodgy chins. Let's just say that. But the way he had them schooled, he got their attributes, mastered them, and made them very hard to beat. Let's be real. Look how disciplined they were as well.
That was a surprise when he died, because he was doing a telecast and he was like running around like a couple weeks prior. Like nobody really knew that he was sick.
Yeah, I mean, look, for me, the best trainer that's ever graced. But forget about Gus D'Amato, that fucking pumped steroids in some young kid from the street. Forget about.
He also had Carlos Ortiz.
Forget about Freddie Roach. Forget about Freddie Roach, who just lived off Pacquiao all his life, and then forget about Panama Lewis, that had this fucking juice that used to give fighters boosts and stuff. Look, the best trainer was Emmanuel Stewart. You've only just got to look at what he did to Klitschko and Lennox Lewis.
Well, there's many great trainers. Like, there's great fighters. There's not like only one. There's always going to be.
I've always said sometimes fighters make trainers. I mean, but with Emmanuel Stewart, he's that where he'll get a fighter that's got talent and turn him into an all-time great. And that's
because he did it the right way. So like yourself, like a trainer, when you get ego trainers, like you come to them and they say, okay, they look at you and they say, okay, I can make you do this. I can make you do this. A good trainer will sit back, watch you, and realize your attributes and your defects. That's
the most important thing about training.
You highlight the fucking highlights and you make them hide the fucking deficiencies. You try to hide the deficiencies with your attributes.
And to think that he got But to think that he got Klitschko and Lewis, right? And he made, and they're both like all-time, and they reigned for years, beat everyone in front of them. And these guys both had dodgy chins, and to give them a style where they become very hard to. That's a good trainer. It's like when Floyd Mayweather Sr. Trained Ricky Hatton to fight Pacquiao. He got Ricky Hatton and tried to get him to be like Floyd. I mean, it was embarrassing. It was a joke to watch. Rick, if anything, right, he should have got Hatton and polished it on what Hatton does good. Just close the distance, rush the guy, and just do your work. He tried to get Hatton to be using the jab. It was dreadful. Let's be real. Yeah, look, everyone says about what trainer Floyd Mayweather Sr. is. No, he's not. I could train Floyd and still be a world beater.
De La Hoya says that he wouldn't go to anybody back. He wouldn't go back to anybody except Floyd Mayweather. That's what he's had multiple trainers. But the only trainer that he would go back to is Floyd. I don't know why he said that though.
Yeah, but Floyd Mayweather's good when he's got a fucking all-time great to work with. The best trainers are the guys that get the best out of what they've got.
Roger Mayweather, his brother, was a good trainer to Floyd. It was the uncle. Rest in peace.
This is the thing about Freddie. I mean, I don't really remember, apart from Manny, I don't really remember Freddie ever getting a fighter and turning him into a world-class operator. With Freddie, he got a lot of fighters that were already good, but he never really improved these guys. Name me one, apart from... But Manny was always going to be a legend. I could train fucking Manny and he got wins. Name one guy Freddie's got hold of and turned into a world beater.
World beater, I don't know, but I remember him taking Steve Collins under his wing.
Who?
Steve Collins when he beat Eubank and Nigel
Yeah,
Benn.
but Steve Collins was like 35 years old. He was a schooled operator. He was a tough guy. Anyway, and Eubank was like, Eubank was like shot to pieces. Let's be real. I mean, come on. I mean, the best trainers are the guys that will get someone. I mean, that's why I give respect to Virgil Hunter, right? Because what he did with Andre Ward has to be respected. But there's not a lot of trainers out there that I care for because I think the fighters make the trainers. I really do. I mean, like Manuel Stewart's like he's an odd one out where but he's still dealing with world class opera. I mean, all right, you say about what he did with Klitschko and Lewis. They were both gold medalists in the Olympics, so he had something to work with. Get fucking Anthony Corolla and see if you can turn him into a world. They're the trainers for me.
Yeah, for me, Prince Naseem Muhammad would have been a better fighter if we would have listened to. Manuel Stewart. I just think he would have been an all-round better boxer.
I'm really impressed with Fury's trainer from the Kronk. I've been calling for Fury to fight like that for years because I've seen him. I can see how dangerous he can be when he puts the pressure on, like Cunningham and Chisora. I don't mean he needs to be prancing around on the back foot, stinking the joint out. I don't mean he needs to be. I think this. I can't remember his name. Can't help me out.
Sugar Hill.
Sugar Hill. I mean, Sugar Hill. Like I said, I think Sugar Hill is a lot better trainer than what he's getting credit for because he got Tyson Fury, a world-class operator, and turned him into a monster. And that's what makes the good trainers.
But Tyson Fury, that's what because I think Tyson Fury is the type of guy he listens to instructions, and he tries to follow the instructions of the trainer, and he tries to pull up that game plan, So when he went to Sugar Hill, he saw what needed to be changed, and he went for the Kronk style,
Yeah, but Butcher will be my witness. Butcher will be my witness. Everything Sugar Hill told Fury to do, I was preaching for a year before that. When I Butch.
Yes, but still, being better than Ben Davison is not that amazing. You know what I mean?
No, but I know that. You know that. But some of these fucking clowns don't. I mean, they're talking about Ben Davison like, come on, man.
All Ben Davison
was listen, there's nothing impressive about getting your fighter nearly killed in a boxing ring.
Well,
Freddie Roach, Ben Davison that was get his weight off.
Freddie Roach was contradicting Ben Davison, in that first fight.
Look,
Remember?
if I was Tyson Fury, I'd have told Ben Davison to sit down, go and get me a fucking burger for after the fight, and let Freddie do the work. Man, Ben,
guys.
Ben Richardson is all about him. Look at me. Look at the game plan I've got. Yeah, you nearly got your fighter killed. Well done.
Guys, who in their right mind has two trainers, and one of them is Freddie Roach, and he's like the second trainer, like he's
he's underneath some fucking schoolboy that was a fitness instructor.
But who does that?
I mean, come on, man.
You gotta be insane to be doing that. I don't.
But that just proves Freddie. That just proves there's no limits to what Freddie would do for a paycheck. I mean, it was embarrassing to watch. Look, when you've got Freddie Roach in there, fucking like watching it, you're obviously not confident with your trainer. You shouldn't need two trainers. So he was never confident with Ben Davison in the first place. I think he just needed a friend to fucking sit around and someone to help him with his diet and his addiction. That's probably what it was for me. That's all it was.
Yeah.
But look, what
it was
Sugar
probably
Hill,
the guy he needed at the time. You know,
when I
Probably the type of
when
dude
I was
he needed.
listening to Sugar Hill's instructions, perfect. You know, there's just nothing else you could have said that would have changed it. When you look at Ben Davison's in the first one,
that must be that must be a hell of a paycheck.
Can I say something?
If Tyson Fury hired Roach and he makes millions of dollars, it's just like that cut man. I think Capetillo that he hired, he must have gave him a pretty
the thing with Tyson Fury though, because when I was speaking to Peter Fury on Skype a little while ago, a couple of years ago now, I speak to him, and he was saying he goes, Tyson never cuts corners when it comes to camp. That's why he hates David Haye so much, because David Haye actually cost him what 150 grand.
How much did he pay that fighter that saved his eye against that Otto Walling guy? Fighter. How much did he pay that cut man?
I don't know, because I don't.
He must have gave him something underneath the table there, like pretty nice.
Fury's not a sort of guy. I don't think Fury's the sort of guy that will duck a fight for the sake of a couple of million. I just don't think he would. I mean, the fact that he's been out of the ring and looked in that shape and fought Wilder for like it was a guaranteed couple of million, I think, and then whatever extra. I think he
didn't he donate a lot of money to charity? He's a
come on, that's a load.
His purse for the first fight to charity.
That's a load of nonsense, man.
What's that?
He gave a little. He gave a little fucking donation, but he didn't donate his old purse. Come on, man.
Oh, okay.
He didn't donate the gate, but he donated his fight purse, his agreed price, to mental health charities.
No,
in the UK.
He didn't.
He did.
He might have donated a few quid, but he didn't donate a lot. No one's that fucking.
Wouldn't his wife cut his nuts off?
Look,
he probably gave that Ben Davison guy good separation pay, though, right? Also,
depends on his contract. You might not have given him nothing.
Look,
if
you've only got to look
word of mouth.
Go and see how John Fury thought about Ben Davison.
Yeah. Well,
John Fury. Do you know why? Because John Fury saw what I saw. This guy was the worst. All Ben Davison was there was to help him shred the weight because he was a fitness instructor.
Yeah.
When it comes to boxing, what can Ben Davison teach a man like Tyson Fury in a boxing ring? Just tell me.
Yeah. Nothing. Can I say something? No.
Yeah.
Ben Davison had another fighter on earlier that night, and Freddie Roach was also in the corner for that fight. And Freddie Roach has been caught in records saying Ben Davison gave the same instructions to the other fighter that he did to Tyson Fury in his fight with Wilder.
Well, yeah. Just keep flicking out the jab. Yeah, keep it at range. Stick the joint out. Make me look good. Look corny as fuck. Look, one thing about look, if there's a fraud in boxing, I'll find him quickly. And that guy's a fraud. I'm telling you now. I've been saying, and I'm not just saying this tonight. You guys will vouch for me. I've been saying this for a year. The tactics he used for Deontay Wilder in the first fight was probably the worst tactics you could ever use against a fight like Deontay Wilder. Just let him keep, let him fight at a pace that he's comfortable in. Let him, let's be real. Tyson Fury wasn't putting any work on Wilder, making him work. He wasn't hitting him with big shots. It was just all pretty stuff. And that's the worst thing you could do with Deontay Wilder, because he's going to sit there walking around with his arm pulled back, with his right arm pulled back, and he's going to land one eventually, and he nearly fucking did. And I said that would happen.
Twitch. He has,
If you give Wilder space and time, and with that quick,
of course, mate. Yeah, you sit there and give. Look, damn it, you could be the best fucking defensive fighter in the world. Deontay Wilder will land one in 36 minutes if you keep him fresh.
Yeah. They put him on the back foot. Yeah, they put that pressure on.
What happened in the second fight? You put the pressure on him. You make him
close distance.
Yeah. You put the pressure on him. Make him fight on the back foot. He folds and he falls to pieces. Nothing was coming back. And the rest is you know what happened. I mean, that's the way you beat Deontay Wilder. You don't sit there and try and outbox Deontay Wilder for 12 rounds. Luis Ortiz thought he was doing well. Luis Ortiz thought he was doing
here.
Oh yeah. I've won every round here. I'm boxing Deontay Wilder. Next minute, sleeping on the canvas.
Yeah, but I was thinking to myself, why is he not putting, in the first fight? Probably about 3 rounds in, I was shouting at the TV, put him on the back fucking foot. My brother advised me.
Yeah.
My brother.
But I think the 12th round. I think the 12th round is actually what cost Ben Davison his job, because Tyson Fury realised. 12 rounds it took him, but he realised how to beat Deontay Wilder in the 12th round when he got up from the canvas and he pushed Wilder back, started hitting him with big shots. Wilder fell to pieces, and I said that's the way to beat Wilder, and I think that's probably what cost Ben Davison his job, because Ben Davison thinks the way to beat Wilder is on the back foot, keeping it range, flicking out the jab, and I hope you get into come on, get out of here.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Small, if you're a male guy with small dimensions, but
I'm worried for Josh Taylor. I'm worried for Josh Taylor because I'm worried for Josh Taylor because Josh Taylor is one of the most exciting fighters in the UK, and Ben Davison, it's the worst guy he could have picked. I'd rather him pick Joe Gallagher with his fucking lose the first 7 and come on strong in the latter rounds. I'd rather him have that game plan than use. But Josh Taylor's at his best when he's sitting in the pocket letting his shots go. When he's trying to fight at range and look slick, Prograis was fucking working him on the outside. Let's be real.
Yeah. No.
It was only when Josh Taylor got in the inside in the pocket and started throwing shots to the body and started working is when Prograis was getting trouble. But from distance, Prograis was piecing Josh Taylor up. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with that because what's Ben Davis going to do for Josh Taylor, offensively and defensively? I hope he just ignores. I just don't ignore. He tries a round or 2 of it, and he goes back and he just starts ignoring.
See, I think Josh Taylor's the sort of fighter where. Yeah, I think Josh Taylor's the sort of fight where Abel Sanchez would do a good job with him, because Josh Taylor's he's a proper fighter. It's all about work rate. That big bear would probably suit him, get him fit, get him stronger. But I just don't think Ben Davis. He's the worst guy because I know he's picking Adam Booth. He had a choice between Adam Booth or Ben Davison. He picked Ben Davison. I'd have picked Adam Booth. But the thing is with Adam Booth
as well.
Well, he's just. Who'd want to be around Adam Booth for 3 months? Nobody. The guy's intolerable.
Between him and Ben
I think that's probably what it is. Ben Davison's like a pal. He's the sort of guy that when you're in camp and sit there and sniff a line with you and not say anything. You know what I mean? He's that sort of guy, isn't he? He's everyone's friend. Not for me.
Yeah, but I was between him and Ben Davison. I'd pick Adam Booth any day of the week. At least he's a proven track record of having champions. And making champions, So
see, that's Wilder. That's Wilder's fault. Problem. See,
he's too loyal.
He waits.
We got a super chat, Stuart.
All right, guys, I'm back. Listen, we're gonna have to end the show. It's been fucking long, man. G Boogie, thanks for your contribution, man. That's a big contribution. Thank you, G Boogie in the house, and somebody else donated. It was Chet Collins. Chet, thank you. He says, "What do you mean? Was Triple G great? He is great, and he could have fought in any era." Great point.
Yeah,
great point.
I agree with that. Someone in the chat saying that Prograis got schooled. I don't know what fight you.
Well,
I had it by
sparring?
one round.
Another. Was it another rumor from Eli Sagbak or something? Yeah. Well, anyways,
look,
guys, we gotta end the show, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on BDA.
I probably won't see you guys for another couple of weeks, but
Weeks? Why, man?
We're working.
Yeah, I mean, I'm busy man, innit? Busy man.
Come on, man. Yeah, there's no fun.
Yeah,
Hey,
to be
you
fair,
better
though,
be-
I'm going to be staying in a bit more because I've got to give my car into the garage in a couple of days. Someone fucking put a knife to it,
Yeah, you told us.
slashed
That
all my
sucks,
car
man.
up, man. So I won't
Fuckers.
have a car, so I'll probably
Dang.
be staying in a bit more.
All right.
Sounds like a female.
That's not a female that's done that, man. That's not a female that's done that. That's a guy that's done that.
Was it everybody else's car, like in the neighborhood? Were you just one of the random dudes, or was your car targeted?
Well, I don't know, man. Like I said, I was blaming everyone, mate. When I saw it, I even questioned my mother. Do you know what I mean? I was like, well, what did she fucking do? I was questioning everyone.
Whose woman were you with?
Some jealous little. Look, probably the likelihood is some jealous little fucker saw it.
Yeah.
Knows that he'll never have one in his life, so he thought he'd fucking make my life a bit difficult and cost me 450 quid.
When that's happened to me, I usually run. The first thing I do is go look at other cars. Was mine just like, did they just go down the line?
Yeah, well,
cars?
yeah.
You know what I mean? But if it's just mine, I lose it.
Yeah, that's the problem, bro. It's just knowing where. Because I went to a couple of destinations. I ended up in a house party. And,
so you didn't see it until okay.
Yeah, it could have happened anywhere. All I know is I got up in the morning and I saw fucking knife marks all the way down my car. Like, oh, for fuck's sake!
Here, let me tell you.
I had a Toyota Supra.
This is actually a true story. This is about 10 years ago. Somebody was slashing all the tires in the neighborhood. Guess who was doing it? It was the local garage.
Looking for the business.
Yeah,
I found out that one of the guys from the garage was doing it so they could drum up more fucking business because their business was going down the toilet.
Ah, shit.
Jimmy, do you know the funny thing about it, right?
Yeah.
The day that someone cut my car with a knife, right? I was driving home. It was getting dark. You know what I mean? Down this country road. I felt this thud underneath my tires. I thought, fuck's. But the car wasn't telling me that I was losing pressure, so I thought nothing of it. Next day, looked at my tires, right? All four of them fucking got eggs in them. My tires look like Dennis Lebedev against Guillermo Jones. There's fucking eggs on them, right?
I thought you were going to say I had to pull over, and I realized the hooker in the trunk wasn't dead. She was.
I've just been hit with a £450 bill for my paintwork. The next day, done all my tyres in £800 for 4 tyres, bro.
Wow, so that's like over $200 a piece, American.
Well, £200, about 200, probably about $300 American, probably a little bit less each tyre.
Yeah, about 280, right? $280
I've been having a nightmare, bro.
What are they, Z-rated? You get like real soft tires?
Yeah, like high performance, you know. I've got an RS. I've got an RS3, so you've got to have good. You can't just have. You can't have. You got to have all the same
tires. You can have 4 snow tires on it.
Yeah, imagine.
You got to have all this. You got to have all the same tires. You can't have 2 different brands on the tires.
No, run like shit.
Hey, by the way, G Boogie, thank you for your contribution again. Since Gonzalo, how's the fence coming along on your property?
Oh, thanks, G Boogie. It's looking great. I'm doing the steel grills right now, and I'm making the gates. So the welders are working. I actually got to go there now.
We're gonna see you on an episode of Fear That
I might head off BDA and Gonzalo.
All right.
Talk to you later, and talk to you later too.
Thanks for joining us.
having
And
me on.
I want to also thank PED for the contribution. Thank you very much. And guys, by the way, we are now on Spotify, so you can listen to the show on Spotify. Just type in BDA Boxing, and you'll see the show there. All right. Well, guys, let's wrap it up. Thank you.
All right, guys. Hey, Stu, everybody take it easy. Booch, take it easy, brother.
Good speaking to you again. Good speaking to you again, Jimmy. Always a pleasure.
All right, brother. You too, man. You guys be safe.
Jimmy.
And you, Gonzalo. You look after yourself, bro.
All right.
Thank you.
Jimmy, Stu, Gonzalo, thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time. I want to also thank the winner of the donor of the month of July, Father Ted Creeley, Father Jack Hackett, Father Dougal McGuire, and Father Finton Stack. All the fathers who donated, thank you very much for being number one. All right. This is BDA Boxing. Saying goodbye. Where's the fucking music?
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Oh, we're gonna have super chat. Super chat. G-Boogie again. Stuart Little, go on tireeasy.com. You get great tires for cheap. He's telling you to go to tireeasy.com. Tireeasy.com for great cheap tires.
Yeah, man. No, I've already sorted that out, bro.
All right.
Got the fucking Pirellis on there, haven't I?
G-Boogie works for tireeasy.com. All right. See you guys. Take care. Take care, Stu.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it no more.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
You just killed a little fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. Yeah, because you got nothing.
Lobito!
Got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA Boxing.